Welcome back to Rivals Fight Night number 13. Got the two best teams in Europe, just went head-to-head on it. Patapim and Djalia just went 3-0. And now, a team that we think might be the best chance to bloody the eye of the best team in Europe, which is Virtus.pro. Patapim moves on. I don't know.
This is where I start backpedaling, Hex. I just want to signpost for the viewers.
This is where we start backpedaling. I kind of looked at you. I looked at you and I'm like, I don't think Jake actually believes.
All right.
You're probably right.
I legit believe Patapim. I mean, I set the conditions for him. It's like you literally cannot do more than you just did in that qualifier match. Like you cannot do more. You cannot have a more impressive showing than that from my perspective. However, VP have one less championship in Rivals Fight Night than it is technically possible for them to have championships, and they also didn't play in that one that they didn't win. So they have a 100% win rate is also the most you could possibly do.
It's also something that's very difficult to bet against. Yes, you are absolutely correct. I always root for the underdog. Dustin, I don't know. Where are you at on this one, I guess?
I don't know. All I'm saying is one of you guys need to commit. You need to predict Berber to win 3-0 or at least 3-2.
Why don't you do it, bro?
No, I can't do that. You got to do it. You got to do it, man.
You crazy?
I'm not crazy. You're crazy, dude. Okay, Berber's crazy. If they win, they're like the best team ever because nobody's been able to beat VP.
I'll do it because like no one remembers when you're wrong. They just remember when you're right with a moonshot kind of prediction. So of course, Patapim is going to win. I knew it forever. So I was the only one to say it.
It does. It does make sense because, like, Hex, you're right. Like this team, I mean, even last time they played, it was the closest match that VP's played. I guess you could say between like LG and VP, but honestly, even in those 3 ones that happened before, I don't think any team looked as competitive as Berber did. At least like what was it, like 3-4 weeks ago now. Yeah. So
they've looked very strong and solid. And also, I'm just really tired of writing checks to Virtus.pro. Just super tired of it. They
aren't tired of cashing them, though. I'll tell you what, Hex. They are not tired of cashing the Rivals Fight Night checks. It feels good being the best in Europe and to be holding on to that title for month after month. I mean, VP, they know they're the best. There's going to be zero question about their confidence, no matter how good of a showing a challenging team puts up in that challenger match. This is the test, though. Comes down to the match. You know, you're all the pride, all the storied achievements you were able to accomplish in the past. They mean nothing. These teams come into the game on a level playing field every single time. The fact that VP has won every single challenger just only speaks to their tenacity, their refusal to back down, their ability to adapt to any scenario. But Berber Patapim shown that adaptability themselves.
At some point, if you're VP, you would love for somebody to give you a challenge, right? You kind of need somebody to scrim against. Iron sharpens iron, that kind of thing, right? You kind of want somebody to be good-ish that you can play against and get better against rather than like just being the absolute dominant nature that you have been.
Yeah, I mean, this team as well, Hanks. I mean, they because speaking on that note, I mean, they're looking outside the region for practice and scrims, right? We hear about them scrimming North American teams all the time and doing well in those scrims, even on ping. You know, obviously we don't know who the best team in the world is until like a LAN event happens or something, but you know, we've heard people always praise VP, at least in the team that I've heard actually does well versus VP, interestingly enough, which is bear in mind scrims. We all know how, you know, scrim bucks don't really matter all too much, but apparently team OUG in China is doing pretty well against them. So they're like the best team in China at the moment. They've got a lot of like tier 2, tier 3 guys from other hero shooters who've come over here and dominated as well in their region. So, you know, I think there is a real case for them, but VP right now definitely has a shot at being the best team in the world.
Also hard to make that ping work if a team in China once. It's a rough ping no matter what. So we talked a little bit about curveballs, Jake, about like what do you want to do? First map's going to be Krakoa. Is there a possible curveball from Patapim here to run at them that maybe takes them off? Or do you think that Patapim is good enough to mirror match it?
You think about the curveballs, like the sort of strats that they've been running before in that last series to some success. It was like this Hulk Black Panther dive strat. it was, you know, playing like a very poke-heavy Iron Man setup on Yggdrasil Path. Those are both strong looks. Krakoa, though, they played a little bit more standard. They kind of just won with the bread and butter. It was the Hela and the Psylocke, a comp that, you know, a lot of teams have played before, one that VP are also going to be comfortable on. They played, I believe it was the Thing and Emma Frost, another setup that VP also likes. So I actually don't expect Krakoa to really be the moment to break those things out. This is a moment maybe for the teams to kind of go head to head and to get that true test of strength, potentially on some pretty similar comps.
It's an interesting idea, Dustin, too, because it feels like, well, we've played this map 1 trillion times, right? Let's just see where we actually are against VP. Can we just go toe-to-toe? Can we just Groot v Groot or, you know, anything like that, or like face-to-face on it? Do you think, is that your expectation as far as the bans and protects go?
I mean, yeah, I think so. This is what I was talking about earlier. I feel like VP, for as good as they are on Psylocke Emma, I do feel like Berber is pretty good at that comp too. So it's like, I mean, sure, like, you know, you say like, oh, you don't want to give Sparker the Psylocke and all that sort of stuff, but honestly, I like how they play on it. I'm totally fine with them taking that mirror. Even if they lose map number 1, I would feel at least more comfortable playing that, because it just seems like, yeah, like if we go to Human Torch, if you're allowing that to go through, or you're allowing that name war to be played, I would be more scared of that stuff, because I think it adds a little bit more of like that team play VP's really good at. Where it's not to say that Psylocke is not like a team play oriented character. I just feel like you can sort of match that sort of experience in skill level, I think, on both the Emma Frost and the Psylocke.
It's funny because you say like, oh, they've got this Psylocke player, and it's like, well, we have one too, right? That's kind of the idea. Jake, is there a player that you think can win this entirely for Patapim that you're looking for as like going to be the all-star?
I mean, honestly, no. I don't think that any solo carry is viable against a team like VP. They are way too good from an individual level, from a team level, to be beaten by a solo carry performance. It's something that's just not possible at the top level of play. It needs to be the team coordination, right? Like, one of the things I've constantly praised VP for in the past is how intelligent they are with their positioning. Like, they will fall back very far into the map and then re-attack you with like maximum advantage. Like, they are not attached to holding a certain spot. They're willing to play very dynamically. That's allowed them to get strategic edge. They're like always the team with that last trump card support ultimate. They're always outplaying and putting themselves in that scenario. Well, and so for Berber Patapim, it's not one player to counter that. It's a whole squad.
Very quick, obviously, Human Torch was stand out first, as always.
Every time.
Every time.
Makes sense. Well, I like how Hex earlier you mentioned how, like, you know, like we have a Psylocke player too. You know, it's tough when you're like, you don't want to obviously build up players, especially as a player yourself. But like, I mean, obviously it's our job as casters to talk about how good players are. As a player, it's always tough to watch back the VOD and hear the caster be like, oh my God, this player is so good, and he's not pointing out how good you are or whatever.
Right.
But you know, like, there's only so much you could talk about. And, you know, it is very annoying to hear that as a player, because I remember I had a teammate with, I think, Baby Bay. As much as I love that guy, I played like Zenyatta in the unknown game, and he'd be like, we'd play against a Zenyatta player, and he'd be like, oh my God, that guy's so good at Zenyatta. He's so good. He's so good. Like during the scrim block. Yeah, I'm like, this is the most. I was like, dude, I'm here too. Hello? Like, please. It's so freaking annoying. But, you know, that's Sparker. He's like that good on Psylocke, and obviously we have to talk about that.
No, you got to put your ego in there too.
Both teams have like pretty much the same ban phase up to this point. VP are going to protect the Loki, Berber Patapim. See where they go with the ban. They have maybe the opportunity to shake things up, but could just end up with a full mirror match here, kind of as we expected on Krakoa. I don't think it's a map that really lends itself to anything too crazy.
I actually like the mirror match. I like the mirror match from Patapim. Like, yeah, let's see what you got. So we can do it too. Like, I kind of like it as
whole mirror so far, unless VP wants to change something.
And we'll see the last pick.
And apparently Solomon's telling us that VP as well wanted to be on the two-band first side. Could be a slight advantage there, theoretically.
Okay.
And they are going to make a little bit of a change up. They're going to take the Groot out of the equation where Berber Patapim block the Magneto. So Berber Patapim can play the Magneto if they want. And honestly, both of these teams have kind of leaned away from Groot recently, even when it's been unbanned. And so I'm kind of curious, because I would think maybe Magneto fits a little bit better, and both teams wanted to play a little bit more dynamically. But I think historically VP have just not wanted Groot for the variance that those walls create, kind of like disrupting some of your preset team plays and your use of some strategist ultimates. Those can be particularly problematic and introduce some more individual variance.
Well, we will see how it all shakes down. It's kind of the most excited that I've been about Europe in quite a while, to be dead honest with you guys. Patapim versus Virtus.pro. Let's go. Take us into the map, Dustin.
Thank you, Hanks. Head into Krakoa. Yeah, hopefully we can see a team do well versus VP. Obviously, you know, unbiased. It's fun to see like high level play regardless, but yeah, I mean, I could see how like viewers and stuff are like, okay, VP is just that good. Are they really that good, or is every team in Europe just that bad? And then it kind of creates that dialogue, right, Jake? It can be confusing, I think, for some people.
I will say, just like, I think just knowing the genre so well, I am quite confident that VP is in fact very good. Like, they are not just beating up on weak opponents. Like, whether the other teams in the region are also going to be able to compete with the other top teams from other regions, I'm not sure, but I'm very confident that this VP squad is going to be a threat at international events. Whether they're the best with the bullet as they are here, that remains to be seen. As you said, we've got to get to those international lands, but in order to get there, you've got to qualify. Berber Patapim looking to put some threat on VP. We're playing a classic triple strategist setup with the Star-Lord. Pokey, though, already getting advantage. Ooh. Takes that pick down, so Fly's gonna have to self-res as soon as he wants to get back into this engagement.
Yeah, VP are usually very good at shooting at flyers, making sure they're uncomfortable, but Pokey just kind of playing in the heart of his team, just tracks down these members. Also, they did force Tanuki over to play that Bucky instead of on a character more like, you know, that Psylocke or something along those lines. Wolverine also did make it through in the ban phase. 5 dies again. 2 down already on VP's side. Right now, Pokey is looking just as dominant as he was in the previous series.
This is insane, right? This is our MVP from that previous series and showing that he's still got it against the best team in Europe. Berber Patapim looking to snatch that crown away. They want that title belt here in Rivals Fight Night, the opportunity to take that competition against the premier teams in Europe. Virtus.pro, though, just one fight, right? It's a long series. They've shown a lot of resilience historically.
You know what this shows me, Jake? Like, I feel like I was feeling that like Europe was a little behind North America in terms of meta because they weren't playing Iron Man last week very much, at least not many teams. Like, they were playing like Storm, some other nonsense like that. But Iron Man North America has been dominant, and maybe we'll see why. Here comes the Mantis ultimate, has the shield from a distance. Who's he going on? Nobody. Looks like it's dodged on the inside angle from Sparker, and here comes Thigh in the sky. I mean, that Iron Man can't go anywhere, right? He tried to save him with the Regenerative Crystal, but unfortunately could not. So Foki's gonna have to come back from spawn, but invisible boundary to sustain for a little longer. Enzio's ultimate on the outside. Tanuki as well on the right side with side pace. Sparker goes down. The res isn't going to be there as well for these members. I mean, they have the self-res, but the full Adam Warlock res is going to be delayed, if not here at all. And Tanuki wants more. He's chasing all the way towards the jump pad on the other side of the map.
It's a big cleanup from Tanuki. It does take a full ult dump, though, from Berber Patapim. That's 6 ults committed. Tanuki using the last gasps here of the Kraken impact. And Virtus.pro now have an opportunity to retake with ultimate tempo. But so far, it's been really difficult for them to open up these fights. Fi has really been struggling on the Star-Lord. Feels like Pokey has been pretty much dominating in the sky with the exception of that fight with Fi's ultimate. Now Berber Patapim, without ultimates of their own, this is going to be a tough hold to make. I mean, the cap ult, so powerful, this opening comes in here from VP.
And Nevix dives on in. NCO gets grabbed. Gonna go down as well. Don't know what happened to his diamond form, why he couldn't use it there, but he got stun locked regardless. And now VP's just kind of surrounded the point like sharks. I mean, they just take the objective and Berber Patapim back to the spawn. They're going to head.
And I mean, that's big for VP that they're able to get that flip with only 85% of the board for Berber Patapim. It means that even if you lose a fight for VP, you're likely going to be able to get like a strange TP last second clutch contest. So it gives them a little bit of strategic depth in terms of their ability to still tank a fight loss and come back in the round. Now Berber Patapim, it's their turn to try on the retake. I think this is where the triple strategist feels a little bit more effective, right? Where you have map control, the enemy is trying to push through a choke point, and those massive heals can be brought to bear. Adam Warlock can really pump damage in this scenario.
Yeah, this is all on cover right now, and NZO takes a ton of damage, so they have to back out. Nice grab from Finzi as well. Pulse as well on the stall, but no, does not connect on the outside. Good dodge there from Finzi. Uses the ultimate, cancels it immediately, yeah, because of the portal away. I mean, nice waste of ultimate there from the side of Berber Patapim to force out Finzi to use that ult. Now they come back through the main side of the objective. With 50% of the board now built up. They're going to go back through the portal. They're doubling back, Jake, around the objective. Maybe trying to confuse VP right now. They're sitting with that Adam Warlock res. Maybe trying to catch out that Adam Warlock. But here comes Vi in the sky yet again with the ultimate. Tries to connect, forcing out the invisible boundary from Alex. But that's fine. You'll take that as VP. They're just taking the one-for-one trade as, you know, Berber trying to walk in, create some space. Paulie, nice pick. Sparker was low like you mentioned. He goes down. No res again. Gonna have to use that cocoon. Now coming back in with the Mantis ult. They're trying to dive in find these pickoffs, but that Loki keeping the team alive with the crystals. Now they're going to come back in, kind of rebound back through. Fi still has that res, but he's going to be out of the fight for at least a second. Here comes the Kraken impact. Slept, but it doesn't matter. Reset's still there from Tanuki. Portal's also available, so everybody can kind of dash around. Sparker's going to go down. He doesn't have the cocoon either, so that res not going to be here in this fight. Tanuki somehow connects on that Soul Lord as well. Fi, oh my gosh, so much damage coming through Dritro, though. Trades back Paul in the backside. Nice job from Tanuki to kind of keep everybody else at bay on VP's side, and the points flip for the side of Berber.
Patapim, though, they're going to have to clutch this one out. I think there should be time for a Strange Portal. It's going to be pretty tight. Finzi just spawned. He needs to get back with the Strange Portal for the touch. Pokey, though, sitting over the top with his maximum pulse could be a big problem. Cap using the ult now, just stalling the point. Getting Focus Fire down, though, in a bit of a trouble. Ultimate seems to be just enough to stabilize. And the ult comes in here. Maximum pulse. Is it able to connect? No. Blocked by the shield here. Doctor Strange stabilizing for the moment, but Pokey strikes first blood in this fight. Patapim up one. Dridro and Sparker coming back with their ultimates, trying to clutch this one out. The mass res comes out from Sparker. And Dridro with that mid's ultimate stabilizing as well with the rest of the squad. Invisible Boundary, though, so advantage for Patapim as they dominate this fight on the point.
Yeah, I mean, I am not really an Adam Warlock believer these days. They come back through to the point. They're delaying a little bit longer, but where's the damage, right? I mean, they have the Adam Warlock slowly poking away at this Iron Man, but guess what? He's got a shield. He's got his E to keep him healthy. I mean, Jake, we saw one ultimate there from Sparker because he just had nowhere to hide.
Yeah, struggling in this round. And you know, like you said with Adam Warlock, especially I feel with Bucky on the other side, it's a real problem because you're so scared to commit that ultimate, the mass res, when you know there's the threat of just getting absolutely snowballed over with like the you're just allowing this Bucky to get mass resets and just like cycle his ultimate 10 times on you. Like, it's such a difficult fight once you get caught in that trap of like rezzing back into it. And I mean, it's a classic comp from BP. It almost is enough to get it over the line. It gets down to the final fight, but Patapim taking first blood here on the first map, winning that round. It's a big statement for them that, okay, they came to play. And BP, they've been in this scenario before. I mean, they're very far from out of this, but it's a great moment. You know, Patapim, you want to start strong against an opponent that's as favored as VP is.
Yeah, it's a great point because, you know, as far as bad as the stats look as well, you know, yeah, only the most 4 eliminations for the side of VP, and you've got basically quadruple down on the side of Berber. That was still close. I mean, we still had 80% of the board there for VP, and
the triple strategy comp doesn't really get great stats, but it just it like wins the fights that matter. And you know, you're like self-rezzing, so even though you lose elims, if you're self-rezzing, then it almost doesn't matter that you died, right? So it's sort of in the nature of the two comps. I do think that round was closer, as you say, than the stats suggest.
And I think you would agree with the Shake. Like, I feel like this is a better round for the Adam, right?
Surely, because you have more so much wider, like a lot more space. Instant pop of the legendary, and Fi's just using this as zone. So Patapim are gonna like kite out of this. They shouldn't really lose anybody this, but they have to come out contest. And the point in the chaos goes the way of VP. So now they're starting to rack up capture time. If they can stabilize here, they'll be in a wonderful spot for the round.
When they force those Loki crystals early, here comes that invisible boundary. They want to play aggressive, take control of that point yet again. Here comes that Mantis ult, but here's that Iron Man. Does it finally connect? It does. Fine, not able to get that iframe. Doesn't matter. Dridro also falls down. Here comes Tanuki over the high ground. Alex is going to fall, however. Ken doesn't have copy either as Finzi. Just kind of mows down everybody else with a huge ultimate. On the backside of the point, VP finally take control, or had control at first, and force off Berber and Patapim.
Yeah, VP really flexing their strength there. And in the fact that they're able to take the point early and Berber Patapim are just a second late to get the contest means this should be starting from like 0-0, and now VP are already at 40. So it's only going to be a couple more fights. Berber Patapim under pressure to get this retake. And the Cap ultimate is a bit of a problem for them. His ultimate lasts a long time and more or less protects everyone. And you know there's so much healing, of course, to supplement it. I feel like Paulie really needs to find some kind of one-shot Meteor M connection, but it's pretty difficult in this matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, but if anybody could do it, is him. Meanwhile, Berber slowly walking themselves into this. Already 60% on the board. Here comes that Cap ult, like you mentioned, Jake. It's been a problem. Can they deal with it? Grabbed by the diamond form, saved somehow with that invisible boundary, able to live through all of that damage. Meanwhile, VP trying to disengage that. Coming back through now with that Galactic Legend. It met by the Meteor M. Disengaged, however, towards the point until now. Finzi was trying to touch the point. Didn't get saved necessarily by that Loki. They tried to save him with those crystals, but unfortunately still going to fall. Forcing the res by Sparker. Pokey as well on the Dridro, who's going to be brought back into it. Saipe with the copy. Does connect with his ultimate, however, zoned out by the Iron Man, and it looks like everybody else sort of zoned out. Nevik's not going to get rezzed back into this fight, so he's probably going to switch to something like a Doctor Strange if he wants to come back through Dridro.
Dridro with one. That's big onto Tanuki. Creates a chance here for VP to come back, but Pokey's trying to slam the door on that chance. The reses come in, but Poki's just punishing them time and time again with that beam from the Iron Man, looking to clean up as the point flips towards Berber Patapim, giving them a chance to make the run back in this round, but it's a long road to 100%. VP, 99% cap. With no ultimates, though, so the retakes are going to be awkward. They're going to be fully reliant on some individual playmaking out of this VP squad.
You're right. Individual playmaking is exactly what they need. VP slowly sort of kind of working themselves back into it. Like you said earlier, it's just such a long walk, especially if you don't take that portal. They're just trying to get that height right now. Set up Fi. Meanwhile, Nevix as well, just looking for his dive, is met by that Emma Frost. Kind of dodges back away from her, make sure he can't get grabbed. Looking for that Bucky and that Invisible Woman, maybe even that Loki who's on the height. That's such a strong spot for Loki, by the way. Just sitting above that point, kind of securing all of this Vanguard aggressive play. Alex able to pull back in fight, gets rid of him early. Does he have that res to come back into this fight? He does, but Sparker falls as well. Does he have his own cocoon to come back in? It might not matter at this point because you've lost everybody. You might want to save those cooldowns for the next fight.
I love the aggression out of Berber Patapim. As soon as they find that pick, like, you know, you do have that self-res cocoon, right? But that takes time. You're out of the fight for at least a few seconds, and usually you need to reposition a little bit before you pop it. And so for Berber Patapim, they take those moments and they strike, turning 1 kill into 3, 4, 5. And at that point, the self-reses are just meaningless from Virtus.pro. They can never stabilize. They don't get the chance to retake position. And Berber Patapim are in great position. It's many ults to be deployed in this fight. It's a cheeky high ground play, though. I wonder if they're going to be ready for this maximum pulse.
They have to be. Legendary. Invisible Boundary met again. Here comes with that maximum pulse over the height. Oh my goodness, Saipei there just in the nick of time with those crystals to keep his team alive as well. Or it was the Soul Resurgence, maybe the Soul Bomb. Regardless, they're able to live. Here comes the Invisible Boundary on the backside as well. Fi forced away. Is going to get found. Doesn't have that res either unless Sparker connects with his own res in a second. Dridro goes down as well. This is going to be last fight territory, basically. So Fi is now out of it. Dridro does have the cocoon to come back into it, but guess who's still here with the Kraken impact? After this cap ult, this could go huge if they don't lose anybody. Dridro is going to come back through. Hook missed. Fi comes back into the fight. So they have everybody here. VP does. Sparker as well. Sitting with that Resurrect, ready to go. Both teams not really using their ultimate just yet. Both kind of feeling each other out right now. Nevix goes into the back line looking for that dive. Saipei's able to find NCO. No, that's a huge pick off. Also, Pokey goes down. Fi just sitting above this back line, kind of free farming, and everybody is just tunneling.
Finally, VP able to get it over. I think it was a pretty scary moment here with Tanuki thinking about going for the clutch here with the ulti, but instead is going to save it for round 3, and that's a big round to win for Virtus.pro. They were in a rough spot there, able to bring it back, and I was thinking the same thing. I thought, okay, you might have that res, you might be able to get a mass res off, but if Tanuki is cycling his ulti on you, if he's hitting you with that Kraken impact, you were going to be in real trouble. VP are just barely able to start getting those kills in before the end of the cap ult, before they become really vulnerable to the counterattack from Berber Patapim. But that's way too close for comfort for a team like VP that's used to having a relatively strong margin of victory.
That must have been just like some expert positioning by Fi there. I mean, like, yeah, he's 10 and 11. You could call it stats however you want, but like you said, Jake, this isn't about the stats, this comp, right? It's just like constantly resing, being alive, being in there, and somehow Fi just like on that flank angle, able to find the damage onto NZO with his team. And I don't know, like, do you think that maybe they were a little too safe with Tanuki's ultimate, Jake?
Yeah, I thought there might have been a window to start counterattacking a little bit earlier. I think the cap ult just pushed them back into a position where they just couldn't fight effectively. Like Loki was in a spot where he's down on the low ground. It's like just awkward for him to really get back into the engagement. Maybe they could have even given up the point and kind of come back in overtime, stall out. Like NZO dying there is definitely a big problem for them. Like if they had just lasted a few more seconds, even if they give up the point and maybe use that overtime, like that's the type of play that I would expect out of VP. And maybe a tiny difference here between these teams. Still, it's 1-1. It's anybody's game here on Krakoa. Virtus.pro, they've got the Saipei copy, so they're going to have something that they can flexibly deploy into this, and it's a big potential blaster barrage already by. So aggressive and dealing with a lot of these important skills.
Yeah, just diving on in there. Here comes the Soul Resurgence, met by the Invisible Boundary. Here comes Pokey in the Invisible Boundary with the pulse. Gets grabbed out of the air! Are you kidding me, Finzi? That was disgusting! Now Saipei's able to follow up onto Alex, also into the sky into Pokey, and then what a beautiful play by Finzi. Chef's kiss.
So immaculate, right? Shutting down that Iron Man ult, that's been a huge playmaking tool. And I mean, no one I think has been better, frankly, in the world on the Emma Frost at shutting down some of these big plays, whether he's grabbing people out of the ultimate, canceling it out, or just with the perfect timing on the shield blocks. He's shown that week in, week out. think there's a reason that VP prefer this pick priority, because that means they get to protect that Emma Frost every time. They think Finzy's the best in the world, and honestly, I think they're right. This guy is on a different level, and now with some significant ult advantage and point control, VP stand in position to potentially secure this opening map on Krakoa.
Pokey living up to his name, just trying to take down these clones, take down the shields. Here comes an early ultimate by Finzy, creating a little bit of space. Tanuki's kind of hiding around corners, making sure he doesn't get hit by the Psionic. Ultimate, meanwhile, a lot of damage coming through. Loki copy, commits. Obviously, he doesn't need to use the ultimate necessarily just yet. Saipe, that is. Now just uses it after getting poked out. They know that ultimate has to be popped, so they're going to have to run away. But everybody dives on Tanuki, man. He was just camping in the corner, trying to live without Stratus ultimates, and unfortunately could not.
Man, VP is so good at like playing those long passive fights, especially against the invisible boundary where you're a little bit limited as Berber Patapim. You need to fight in that location. You've committed that like this is where the strategist ult is going to be. You cannot move around with it. And so Virtus.pro just hang back at the back of the point. They keep control. And then as soon as those ultimates start to time out, they immediately pull the trigger.
Wait, they could do like a portal Iron Man ult play, because you can't hear it on the other side, I think. Yeah, here it comes. Pulse on this side. Does it connect?
Instantly shielded. Finzy's ready.
He's too good. Like, he's too good.
And now coming out of this portal is scary. You see, Iron Man is kind of worried about this coming in. You really can't see the fight around you. You're in a very awkward position. They're going to go in, but Nevix is just keeping everybody up with the ultimate. Dridro now falls up his own, but does get focus fired down. Berber Patapim, that's a massive kill.
He flies in the sky, met by the Meteor M, gets blown up in the air, by the way, not able to throw it out. And man, this is just falling apart for the side of Berber Patapim. How the first two maps have gone. I mean, this is vintage VP at this point now. Tanuki able to take down Nevix. But does he have a team? He's got like 3 members total. Does get the reset
on the clones though, winnable.
But the soul bond, they have too much health, man. Yeah. I mean, that's just brutal. NZO gets tracked down. Here comes Pokey on the high ground. But what more can you really do at this point, especially with the target focus onto an Iron Man VP? What a third round from them, Wade and Krakoa.
That's a statement. Retaking control of the series. It was a strong start from Berber Patapim. They ran it up pretty hard, even on Carousel, but ultimately they couldn't get the closeout. And VP are in a familiar spot, taking map 1. Now Berber Patapim, it's going to be their map pick. This is another crucial moment in the series, right? This is where Berber Patapim, they show that they can compete, that it's going to be pretty close. They're on map 1, but they need to get points on the board. Pretty close is just not good enough. For a team like Berber Patapim, you can see that they've been grinding, that they have serious aspirations in this game. They've got to draw blood on Virtus.pro, and there's no better moment than right now to do it.
It looked like they had it. Why didn't they have it, Dustin? It felt like the first.
Well,
so what happened?
The first map, to answer your question, it's just like maybe just like the Adam Warlock. It's tough to make it work. Also, you have to bear in mind like the Loki as well. Like, look how much damage Saipe did. Like, he did more damage than Nevix. He did more damage than Ken. He did more damage than Sparker, who is supposed to be a duelist player on Adam Warlock, right? And pumped out as much healing as he did, most healing on his team. So I think if you just have Saipe set up on any Loki, like high ground, it's just kind of game over. Like, Saipe was able to do that in round number 2, able to set up on the height, set up all he wanted with his clones and just do all that damage, also the healing. And then same thing with that third round. He was just over there towards that waterfall, and they never really took care of him. And, you know, what do you do at that point?
Mm-hmm. It's such a minor detail, but I really feel that Berber Patapim, while they're waiting out that cap ult at the end of round 2, we were talking about, okay, Tanuki can strike back with the ultimate, but they end up losing NZO early. This is 99-99. Point control almost doesn't matter, right? It really is just about winning the fight. I think if they actually give up the flip there, keep their tanks alive, full back out, and then just come in for an overtime touch with like the push back in, maybe that's a better fight for them. I think they tried to hold on to the point control when arguably they didn't need to, right? Like, they ended up dying in the cap ult, you know, just before having the chance to turn things around. And that's something that I think VP has really mastered and is doing on a different level from anyone else. Is they fall back as far as they need to secure the fight win.
Well, Dustin, as close it was as it was, it seems like they only need to make a small change. What's the small change that they have to make?
Oh, I don't have a good answer for this one, Hex. It's only because, listen, I just don't think they should change anything.
I keep asking you very hard questions.
It's just not it's not like a global tweak that you like, just do this and you're gonna be VP. It's like every scenario, your read has to be so clean. Like, you have to make the right call. And that what happened in map 2 is not going to happen again for the rest of the series. There's going to be a different problem you have to solve. VP is going to put you to a different test every map. And the key is you just need to be mentally ready to make those calls in the moment. And we don't know what they are. Patapim doesn't know what they are.
Let's try to figure out what the next problem might be, and the next choice that they have is going to be map choice. Is there something that helps them out in a map choice, Jake?
I mean, I kind of would like to see how some of these like super aggressive dive comps, like maybe you go to like the Hell's Heaven and you try to make this like Hulk BP work. I thought that looked pretty sick. I thought that was pretty punishing on the Loki. And you mentioned how effective Sight Bay has been. I feel like Yggdrasil Path, the Iron Man, as good as it was against El Qadsiya, I feel like VP is a team that's like too smart to lose to like just like a heavy poke setup. They're too clean with the counters, and they have too many strong hit scan players than to make a flyer be that dominant in a map like Yggdrasil. So I kind of want to see them double down on domination and think, you know what, we can outduel them. I really think it's this very small mispay in round 2 that ends up costing them, frankly, the entire map.
Yeah. So the front line for VP is obviously very, very strong. If you were to 1v1 a damage player, Dogman, which you would never have to, but consider it hypothetically. What do you do against Sparker? Because Sparker's one of my favorite and most versatile players of all time. I think he's so good at everything he does, and why Sparker's good is he can play like 5 different things, right? So what do you do if you're a damage player, if you're a DPS player on Patapim?
I mean, I think it's just keep forcing him to play the Adam Warlock, honestly, just because at least he's not on one of his other heroes. That's the way I see it. Like, as long as he's on a support, like a strategist, I'm happy with that. Like, obviously, Adam Warlock, not necessarily like a full-blown strategist, definitely more of like a duelist. And the only reason they're really playing it is because they have those reses, like, just constantly up. Sparker, it's the only problem with Hela. Like, people are wondering, I imagine, in chat, like, why do they not just play Hela versus the Iron Man? It's because, honestly, Adam Warlock's like a better version of Hela. He just kind of is, because Hela doesn't have 2 lives. Yeah. Exactly. And it's just that Adam Warlock gets the value, has the soul bond as well, offers more to the team. It's just a lot that character does. But at least, you know, the thing is, he won't be doing as much damage. So that's some solace you have, is that at least Sparker's going to not totally destroy you. But like you said, if you're not dealing with Sparker, you're dealing with Sight Bay on that Loki.
So, how do you think you feel as a team right now of what just happened for Patapim? Like, is it a nice thing that you were very close to beating the other team, or is it a sad thing that you were very close to beating another team and then they still beat you, Dustin?
I mean, I think Jake's gonna say the same thing here. Probably. I imagine they're just like, we threw that, right? Like, for sure. Like, I think in their comms, Burr's like, no, like, that's kind of the cope of a pro player. Like, you're just always like, guys, we threw that, we threw the draft, we threw
had it
at this moment. Yeah, we had it, exactly. It felt like they had it, and they kind of did. So in this case, I would kind of agree with that. It just feels like, you know, 1 or 2 mental lapses cost them that game, and if they just kind of lock in, they'll probably win Hell's Heaven.
Yeah, Hell's Heaven's coming up, Jake. Yeah. What do you think on Hell's Heaven?
The res comp, I think, when we think about the success for Patapim and just playing the really high tempo, I would say on map 3, the res comp looks pretty insane on Krakoa. Like, once you get there with that range that Adam Warlock's able to play, and you got like Loki sitting at the back, it's just so awkward to like play that fast tempo.
First ban Warlock, of course. Obviously not.
No. I don't think they can ban. I think they should want it. I think Dustin's exactly right. Actually, you want Sparker on Adam Warlock. I mean, it's not that he's bad at it or that's not a good strat. It's just that might be your best matchup, because I liked it. Patapim, when they were able to grab the tempo for themselves and play super aggressive, they were able to punish a lot of these scenarios. Virtus.pro can have an interesting decision here in their first ban. They could ban out the Emma Frost for Patapim, and it seems like they're going to do that. Usually, they protect it for themselves almost every game.
Well, to loop back to the original question you had, Hanks, what's the switch? I know a lot of pro players are kind of hesitant on Bucky right now. Like, he's a good character, don't get me wrong. So maybe the switch is to play Wolverine or something. Like, just switch it up. I know that Wolverine, like, theoretically, there's no Groot on the other side, so it's like you don't really necessarily want to play it. But like, maybe I mean, maybe they just go the thing. I guess there's like counterplay to it, but at least like I feel like the Bucky is necessarily just not as part of a carry sometimes. Like we said, like, it was just countered at the very end there.
I do like it for the Rescom matchup, though. I actually think that's where Bucky's maybe at his best, because I think cycling on the Loki clones is kind of broken. Like, when you're able to just like, you can like keep your ulti alive through an entire
he
support
deletes the
ulti,
Loki clones too,
and then you also can like punish the Adam Warlock res incredibly well with your ability to like if you can, you know, chase down those low players.
So does Last Stand. If you ult on Wolverine, you just like slam dunk into it, stun everybody who just got res too. But I mean, you're right. Like it's a tough choice.
I just think VP
because,
has shown they're really good against Wolverine. Like they don't get caught. They protect each other really, really well when the Wolverine does snatch somebody. So, like they are really, really smart in answering that comp.
As a viewer, like I think like, hey, Wolverine makes sense against Virtus.pro because they have such a strong tank line, right? Like I want to make myself be a problem for the tanks. And then I look at the rest of Virtus.pro, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to make myself a problem for everybody, really. So like, what would be the call to make them uncomfortable? Because at a certain point, you need to make Virtus.pro uncomfortable, Jake.
I'm with Dustin though. I think you don't change pretty much anything here. I mean, they have protected the Luna.
Oh yeah, they did the BP. Yeah, they did the BP, dude. We forgot about that in the last series.
I think this is actually a smart protect here because I think if VP were smart, they would ban this just to take this X Factor individual player that is really good on this. I think the group ban is actually a mistake here from VP. I think showing the BP protect is like Patapim have no intention of ever playing Groot in this map. I really don't think they ever would. They didn't play it at all last series, if I'm not mistaken. Even when it was unbanned, and I think they're going to bring that fast tempo style and try. I mean, talked about Saipe being a problem, Sparker being a problem, some of these like more backline damage dealing heroes. Well, what better way to do it than to just skip the front line and go straight in after those greedy strategists?
Straight to the back line. Hell's Heaven. I got nothing more.
We're going to Hell's Heaven.
Yeah, Dustin, Jake, take it away.
Thank you, Hanks. No, I mean, this is. I think Hanks is in shock because of how exciting Europe is now. Again, like it feels like this is the most fun series we've had already, and it's game number 1. Now, we've had some awesome series in EMEA. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, it does feel like there's some hope in the scene, regardless of what happened on game 1, right?
Absolutely. I mean, map 1 was close. Like, I honestly think Patapim should have won at round 2. I think if they, I mean, such a tiny, like, I don't want to sound like I'm criticizing them as a team because it's such a small thing, but if they back off on point 2, let the cap hold expire, let VP flip the overtime procs, then you still have like 4 more seconds to come back in for the retake. You're at full strength, and if you're able to get 1 kill off with that, with the buck ult, maybe you snowball on the and it's a 2-0, and we're talking in a very different way about this series. And so I think Patapim need to stay confident. Tanuki, though, he's on the BP. Let's see how Virtus.pro look to answer it. Nevix on the thing could be part of that answer, could deny some of the mobility from the BP.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a lot on Nevix to just kind of stay alive on this front line. Early Soulbond use. They're going aggressive with it. And you talked about their cooldowns. Oh my God, Ken got kicked into the railroad tracks. That was disgusting from that
Tanuki
side
with
of
one. Tanuki with a second. BP. Okay, he's getting active in the back line. Benzie was talking smack in the Twitch chat. He's saying, let's see this BP. You see him now. He's coming in for more here.
Yeah, he's going for more, man. Looking over the top side. And the switch is interesting as well because BP doesn't really get countered by the thing. So on that side, Sparker just gets tracked down. And Jake, here we go, man. Answers are here.
It is Tanuki, man, putting up a great showing in our first series. And they're looking to get even more active. Tanuki's going for the backline. He wants to turn this into just an absolute team wipe. Doesn't get earthbound by the thing, but just gets saved by the regeneration rate. I sort of like the vision from VP to go to like not let VP have time to work his picks and to just send it into the enemy backline. But in the end, Tanuki, with his initiation, he's a little bit patient for it. But when he strikes, it's bloody.
Yeah. Just walking in now. But yeah, you do have the side of VP kind of just locked together. You know their game plan. They're just going to kind of int on you. And if they get an elimination, that's just more for them. But now coming back through Fate of the Worlds. Re-engaging onto Nevix. I mean, is he caught out now? Is he going to have some support? Here comes the Galactic Legend of the high ground. He's too far from Alex, and the change maybe coming through in the next patch. Fi will have that range to get the elimination, but not now. Also, able to stay alive is that Namor. Just with that consistent healing, with his very own iframes with his shift, he's able to stay alive, but here comes a huge ultimate from the thing.
There's the amp.
My God, and Pokey with the whale. Horde Probius with the damage boost. Connects on the Dritro, and Sparker moves both of them out of this fight. No self-reses either, and they come back into it.
Yeah, and Virtus.pro gonna have to back off and lick their wounds. They're trying to clean up Tanuki on the flank, but he slips away on low HP. They just cannot answer this Tanuki Black Panther. He is dominating Virtus.pro here on Hell's Heaven. It's gonna be one last retake. They only have the mass res to work with, and Tanuki sitting on the BP ult. This is a scary moment. Somebody has to answer him, but he's in such great position. He sees everything here.
Oh my God, they're all hit by the Vibranium mark here on the right side. Dashes in, dashes it again, throws the spear, dashes out because he knows he's a target. Can't kill that. I mean, he's just too fast. Maybe the Redditors are right. Maybe Black Panther is not eliminable. How do you counter this? Right now, Soulbond Keeps everybody healthy for now, but the resets are here. Tanuki patiently playing it, right? Just looking for the targets. Born again on the backside, on the inside angle. They are connected with that Mantis ult, and he throws his own ultimate out there, but unfortunately still alive because of that Mantis. But all of those ultimates will surely run out soon. Vi still with that Galactic Legend. What can he do? He's against so many ultimates on the backside. Fate of the World's there from Ken. Alex also has his Fate of the Worlds afterwards. So what do they do on the backside? It looks like they lose both of their supports. Galactic Legend's a little bit too late, and this one might be over for VP. I mean, surely he gets one. Rez also comes back through, maybe. Okay, that could have been called too soon.
Yeah, the dance floor. I mean, that should be the final nail in the coffin. Berber Patapim fighting strong. Vi has to back out of this. Nevix probably going to hold on to this ultimate for the next round. And Berber Patapim serve up 100-0 of their own. The Black Panther Protect paying dividends. Virtus.pro, they knew this was coming. They brought out what they thought was the best response, and they got work. Tanuki, pretty sure he's deathless in that round, created so much space. They're constantly looking for him, and they can't find him. The Redditors are right, Dustin.
Dude. I'm sorry. I bow down to the gold players thinking Black Panther's broken because...
Dude, maybe it is, bro. Like, maybe it is. Tanuki is making me believe it. Although I will say in gold, bro, Tanuki ain't in gold, bro. If the Black Panther is working you over in gold, they're not Tanuki.
Yeah, Tanuki plays in gold and he gets reported for cheating. So, and I don't even know what you would do on Black Panther to cheat. Maybe like wall hacks, I guess. Or like... I don't know. Maybe we probably don't talk about cheats, but regardless, now VP has to mix it up here. They're playing on Iron Man and Bucky. I mean, we know VP to always have answers here, Jake, and this appears to be their solution.
Dude, we just got to... I mean, I love the odds of just watching the VP cam. I mean, we almost never get to see Black Panther.
Wait, look at their comp, man.
Oh, no way, bro. Is the fantastic the answer? Is this the answer the Redditors are looking for? Wait, this is crazy from Vi. So it's like, and Nevix is over to the group, though. This is also, I mean, Virtus.pro for a long time thought Groot was just completely broken. Now they're going to show how they continue on the character by just defending that backline. But Tanuki's already drawn blood. Djalia is down.
EMEA is wild. We have Mr. Fantastic, Black Panther being played at the highest level of the game. Here comes that Groot as well. Nevix trying to get some space, but gets connected with the whale. Actually, no, dodges that whale. Also comes back to the team. Is that Mr. Fantastic, right? They do have that sustain with it, and also they're deleting the Hulk, but it doesn't matter. Tanuki just has far too much damage, man.
The regeneration domain on the Hulk was massive. Now he's grabbing, controlling this Loki in the backline. Needs a bit of help, getting so much heals on the Monster Hulk. I love the way the team played around that cooldown. Giving him the regeneration domain allowed him to get so much more health and really extend the duration of the ultimate. Tanuki, once again, very close, gonna get the ultimate almost instantly in the start of the next engage. And VP, this walk-up is fraught. This is such a good VP map. He can strike from so many angles. And with the third person, he knows exactly where VP are walking up.
When Enzo's on a controller too, by the way, right? So he's doing all of that on Hulk on the sticks. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Here comes Tanuki on the back line, connects with his ship, but there we go. Now he misses one, just plays it back, similar to how you would Psylocke, I guess, if he missed cooldowns.
Yeah, I like the patience. No regeneration domain. Copy comes in. CFVP trying to force the fight on the point here with the Invisible Woman, using that push to maybe zone away the BP. So it's Tanuki struggling to get the connection into the fight, but Berber Patapim have time. They're stabilizing so far with the Strategist ultimates. You're trying to get some cycles here for Sparker, but he can't get the continuation here on the ultimate. Is going to get cut down. The counter punch from Berber Patapim is massive. Tanuki does go down in the chaos, so Virtus.pro still 5-on-5. Finzi trying to get value out of the MF Frost ultimate. He's kind of caught in the corner, doesn't want to get too aggressive, scared of the threat of being turned on, and Berber Patapim dominating this fight once again.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking so good right now, and this is the problem with Bucky. It seems like I've heard Bucky, you know, really good versus Groot and stuff. Like, you can get those hooks, but it's very reliant on the hooks, right? Especially on these dives. If he can hook Tanuki, that's massive, but...
It's such a hard... Hitting the skill shot against a player as mobile as Tanuki is. And look, Tanuki here, you see him on that wall hack here. Third person looking into the back line. And you really don't have many defensive tools here for Virtus.pro. It's just going to be reliant on the cooldowns. Vi does take down NZO, though, so without the Hulk, maybe it's a little bit awkward. Instant burst here, Tanuki. Oh, regeneration domain comes out, but Djalia is not in it, cannot be protected. And now the front line is crumbling. Berber Patapim wiping the floor with Virtus.pro. It's going to be a 2-0 here on Hell's Heaven. A statement victory, evening up the series here for Berber Patapim.
Are you kidding me, Berber? How do they get it done, man? 1-1, tie it up. I mean, it seems like that was amazing. I mean, just beautiful play by them, right?
I have been made a believer in this comp. I love that they're bringing out the Namor and the Luna Snow. I think that's a key part of the success of this strat as well, because not only do you have this massive backline damage threat that you're trying to turn around always and mark the Black Panther, be ready when he comes for you. It means you're not looking at the front, you're not pumping damage, and that means Namor, like these clones from Loki are lasting longer. The summons from Namor are a much more of a problem in the extended team fight. And so Tanuki, the space that he's creating is really being capitalized on by the strategy that Berber Patapim is playing.
Well, BP beating VP. That sounded way better in my head. I thought it was clever. It's not. Wow, guys. So I've looked at these squads and I'm like, well, there's no really one player who's just taking it down. Well, that's incorrect. Tanuki's just crushing people right now. If you're a Virtus.pro, I mean, what do you do about this, Dustin?
Well, I think it's like, I don't think the Iron Man's the solution, unfortunately. As much as I like Iron Man, I just like, it's kind of like if you play Iron Man against like an Iron Fist, for example. I know a lot of irons, a lot of BP, a lot of VP, you know, a lot of similar sounding words.
A lot of FE.
Mm-hmm. And I just don't like it very much versus dive. It just feels bad, honestly. Like, you have to hard pocket the Iron Man, but he just doesn't do like enough damage, I guess, to warrant playing him. Because the problem is that you like play the Iron Man, you get dove on by Black Panther, and especially on that map on Hell's Heaven, like we talked about with those like low ceilings, with the entrances like being so straightforward, and with the like the Loki positioning stuff, where you're going is known by that defensive team. So if that Black Panther is on you on Iron Man, you're breaking your wrist to try to track him with that beam, or you're breaking your wrist trying to track him with left click. So it just feels really bad.
So Jake, you've been talking about how the Black Panther's been a problem for, I mean, with the previous match and now this one. What do you do? What do you do to deal with it? What's the hard counter?
BP is extremely map dependent from what I've seen. Like, Hell's Heaven looks to me to be the best Black Panther map in the game, and I think the fact that Berber Patapim pick it here in this position against VP says that they have the same read. Like, this is their best counterpunch map, and so they go to it. They're able to even up the series 1-1. They also got a couple other key tools that they wanted, such as the Namor Luna Snow combo. I do think that's sort of slept on as actually an important aspect of this comp. As much as we're on the Tanuki cam and he's carving it up, you know, if the front line weren't pumping so much damage from Berber Patapim, then Tanuki would be under a lot more pressure to move quickly. Like, he has a lot of time to work with because the rest of his team is actually fighting incredibly well in the front line. It's not like they're just crumbling, waiting for him desperately to go on the back line. And so I do think that it's a great map for Berber Patapim. They're striking back and evening up the series, but now Virtus.pro, just a map pick should be enough to probably take Black Panther out of contention. You know, you go to like a very wide open map, and I just, even if it's unbanned, I just don't see Tanuki bringing the character out.
Okay, so what is your map pick then if you're Virtus.pro? Who's a team that has not had to pick many maps, by the way? They're not used to picking maps.
That is true. We don't know what they like to play because they rarely pick maps. They're just like more or less, you know, like letting the other teams dictate the series. So I'm curious from their perspective what they feel is their best map. I think there's a combination of wanting to go to a map you're very comfortable on and wanting to probably go to a map that is a little bit more open and deals with this BP strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Getting rid of the flankers. Go ahead, Dustin.
No, yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, just probably same as last series, go to Idrisil path. It feels like that. I mean, obviously they probably go more off of like win rate and scrims or whatever. Like, I don't know how their practice is going, but that feels like a map everybody likes playing on, no matter what team you are.
Could be Midtown is another thought, to be like a little bit more front to back, is a little bit more choky, and I just
maybe, yeah. I guess it's like you just like you said, you still want to make sure they have those flank angles for sure. I wonder what they play, because if we see, I don't know if we'll see triple res on a non-domination map. I don't know if that's very good on like Convoy, but if we see that Iron Man mirror, I mean, it looked like Berber played that pretty well last time, and VP loves to play it, it looks like.
Well, it's a whole of Djalia.
Oh, okay.
Djalia. I don't know.
Djalia. The D is silent, more or less.
I thought it was right. Yeah, I thought it was Djalia. What does this mean to you, Jake? What does this mean as far as like what teams are going to play? Is this a bad BP map?
I mean, I think for VP, it's still a domination map, but it's one that is a lot more wide open. And so despite it being Black Panther themed, I don't think that Black Panther is actually that good on this map. It just feels like a lot of the points are going to be, you know, you can kind of play back. And historically for me, that's where VP has been the best team in the world, like execution wise, is how good they are at ceding territory to the enemy team that they don't need to fight in. Like, they take the fights at the position in the map that gives them the biggest possible advantage, and they really punish the other team. Like, whatever the comp they're playing, like, that's why the Wolverine for me has not looked good against VP, is they kite the Wolverine so far back. They just keep falling back. And then by the time Wolverine, you're just like slowly walking forward, trying to catch somebody on Wolverine, and then like somebody's just dead to spam before you even get the connection. And so VP, they're understanding their read on how to position, and they don't just like force a fight at the choke because they're on defense. They make the correct decisions in my mind, and they're willing to give up choke points when it's not advantageous for them to fight at close range.
They're a very smart retreat team, which I think is underrated in a lot of aspects of being able to know when you're going to lose and you leave, and then you make the other team lose instead. Dustin, I mean, here we are 1-1. We already looked at like Patapim as like, holy crap, this team might be pretty good.
Yeah.
What do you want them to run here to make it 2-1?
I mean, I probably would not be surprised to see them play like an Iron Man composition again, maybe something along those lines. I mean, honestly, I don't hate playing Black Panther on this map, even, to be honest. It's just not like there's actually some decent spots. I know that like in the middle, in the streets phase, like you can kind of break those walls and stuff, but you know what? Like I wouldn't mind playing that. I think that they could play that Iron Man. They could play like they did previously, play that Psylocke if it's not banned. Interestingly enough, by the way, kind of change of topic. Why does Finzi always type in your guys' chat during the games? Like, what,
he's
is
swaggy,
he crazy?
bro. He's flexing. He's flexing, you know?
Okay, all right. Yeah, he said, what did he say exactly? Solomon posted, he said somebody said,
let's see this VP. I'm worked over by it, man. So, all right, you know what? I will give props to Finzi. Like, when you're a team like VP that is like giga slamming everybody, the only way to go up is to style on your opponents by typing the Twitch chat. I am in full support of right. Taking a little bit of it, like distracting yourself when you're in the match. Like, if you're a team like VP that just only wins, you got to give the opponents some kind of chance. You know, you got to flex on them. You got to assert your dominance. Exactly. It's like OG esports, right? Like, you got to have a little bit of fun with it, man. If you're on top this long,
tweeting from the cart is old school as hell. Yeah, it's fine.
We respect it. We respect it, actually.
But now they got to deliver. What if they lose? Yeah, what if they lose,
exactly,
man? Oh my goodness.
Exactly. That's why I wanted to do it. You know, I'm trying to goad them to have a little bit too much fun so that one of these teams does get the upset, because we want to see that, right? I think the fans, as much as like VP are an amazing team and like they deserve all the success that they've had, come on, you got to start rooting for the underdogs when a team drops 13 consecutive championships.
I think, well, you know what's interesting? Well, no, they've changed up. They've gone for the Loki this time instead of the Psylocke. So now that's going to get through. And honestly, I don't mind that for Berber. I feel like, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but when teams kind of pivot to banning strategists, as much as strategists are like meta defining and stuff and strong, it almost feels like it's kind of a bait, right? Like, I feel like when you ban strategists, you're not banning out any specific strategy. Like, yeah, you do a good job like getting rid of strong heroes. Don't get me wrong, but like, it almost feels like that's working into Berber's favor, because then they get like that Psylocke.
I agree with you for the most part. I think the exception in my mind is when you get Loki Luna and you deny it from the other team. I think this strategist duo is still has been broken from day one. Marvel Rivals.
You can't just play like Invisible Woman or something?
I think it's not as good. I think especially like for VP, like they're so good at kiting Invisible Woman ults because you commit to a certain position with the Invisible Woman ult. If you're able to get the Invisible Woman ult off and it's like right on the objective, and the enemy team, if they back off, they're giving the flip to you, like that's great. But a lot of times you get your Invisible Woman ult force away from the objective, VP hard kites back, and then they just stabilize because they can move freely with the ultimate. So for me, the power of Loki and Luna to move freely with ultimates and to like, you know, to fully, whether they're pushing in aggressively, whether they're falling back, that to me is actually a big edge. I agree with you. It's not like a radical shift in the strategy, but it gives you, I think, a little bit more depth when it comes to how you approach.
We got a couple more maps to go. It is 1-1 in EU. Virtus.pro, Patapim.
Am I crazy?
What?
Yeah.
Is this Hans Djalia?
Yeah, it is.
It is all, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's easy to confuse the Wakanda maps.
I got confused. I thought it was the other Wakanda map. Whoops.
It's 1-1 in EU. We're replacing Jake after this map. We'll see you then. Take it away, Dog Bad.
Solo casting this one. VP, though, they're going to be playing that Bucky. Coming out with the Bucky, and they're against Berber Patapim.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
No shot, bro. If this were...
yeah.
No.
It's OP, dude. It's OP.
We're right, Dog Man, and we were wrong.
No, I actually hate playing as Spider-Man Venom, though. But, like, we see this with Light and in FlyQuest.
True.
Tanuki's Himothy, man. He plays all those, like, weird heroes that don't belong in hero shooters, you know? They don't belong, but they do belong because they don't belong. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes sense.
Well, that's the fun of Marvel Rivals, right? There's, like, so much strategic diversity.
We get Spider-Man 2 Spider-Man coming in. Here he comes, forcing out the crystals early, shortly. Yeah, there it goes.
Oh, okay. Punish, but Pokey took that opportunity to punish Finzi now. And so it's an even trade here. I think this is good for the attackers. Pokey is starting to take a dominant position. He used that distraction that Tanuki created to great avail and is now looking to flank in and look to hit the backline. You can bet when this flank pops from Pokey, it's going to be a threat, but it seems like they scout him out.
Yeah. I mean, they have control of the point, right? So Nevix. Oh! Hey, where was the heals? Just died for free.
TPing back in for VP. They're trying to fall back and deal with these backliners. Sparker does shut it down for one. Letting that freeze last max duration. Great play there. The Venom is so incredibly low. Ezio just barely gets back to the team.
Oh my god.
Oh, they have the Luna ult. They should be okay, but no, they're able to burst through. The connection for the maximum pulse. VP clutching.
Oh my goodness, man. That was a crazy Groot ultimate. Fantastic placement from Nevix, who came back with that Doctor Strange portal, and now... I mean, Berber, they've lost Spider-Man 2 fights in a row, but I don't know, Jake. Like, that was kind of lucky, no? Because the Ezio got frozen, Tanuki went down. That was, like, perfect for VP.
Yeah, the fact that they were able to burst through the dance floor was massive, I think. Like, if they don't get those kills, I feel like Berber Patapim stabilize off the back of the dance floor. And now it's VP who are in a position to have the advantage in terms of those dance floors, which I think is massive because you can bring all the dive in the world here from Berber Patapim, but I just don't see... the Meteor M is, like, the only way you're actually bursting through a strategist ultimate. Venom's getting hard aggroed in the backline. Stabilizing right now, but they're able to nuke Finzi in the front line. They didn't expect him to be the one targeted. And Virtus.pro, a rare mistake, double support ulting.
Oh my goodness. I mean, they're definitely screwing up now, but here comes the Meteor M over the height. Can't get beat. He does, Paulie. No. Traded out, though, by Pokey. On the opposite side. Oh, that was pretty far forward. Here comes the Spider-Man ultimate on the backside. Amazing Spider-Man. Not able to find eliminations, but does slow them down. Meanwhile, Nevix just kind of anchoring the point. This is what he does best. Alongside Finzi whenever he plays Emma Frost, just kind of securing that objective. Frozen again on the inside angle. This Luna Snow absolutely putting in work right now for the side of VP. Djalia has hit every single freeze.
And we were questioning a little bit the Bucky, but Sparker is showing that this character absolutely still has a place in the meta, you know, especially against some of these high mobility divers who rely on the ability to constantly juke and dodge away. They don't really have the health pool to just, you know, properly tank through incoming damage. And Sparker has just been really punishing the divers, right? He's been constantly bodyguarding the supports, not necessarily planning to punish the vanguards for Berber Patapim, but always denying any kind of these aggressive moves.
Everybody is just playing hand-holding meta right now.
It's good. It's hard to dive into this, right? Like, it's up to Poke, I think, to create those opportunities.
Oh my!
That ultimate's massive, though, because Hella's able to dodge away from the Groot connection.
Fi able to get down Tanuki on the backside as well. Opening pick, so Tanuki out of the fight, but you do have damage coming in from the Goddess of Hell from above. Fi also just kind of plays back. His cooldown's already used, so he's not going to be tanky for this upcoming fight. Waiting to use that ultimate. I mean, 20 seconds left to go. It's pretty much last fight territory. You're still having to wait for Tanuki, who has to walk all the way back from spawn, use all this cooldown just to get to the point. Here comes Paulie over the top side, getting beamed by Iron Man. That's so much free damage. Has to block back to the main. They do have Invisible Woman ult now, but guess what? Iron Man is here. I mean, this is going to be so gross from 5. He's able to get it off, but you do have Meteor M from NZO coming up. That can't counter. Here they come. Oh my god, the pull, but he's able to stay alive. Crow's back into the team with the Fate of the Worlds. Both Fate of the Worlds are going on, so nobody really dies unless the maximum pulse comes out, but he's not going to use it because Enzo has the Meteor M, so you can't use Iron Man ult when this ultimate is up, because it just gets eaten immediately. Here comes the Groot ultimate, gets eaten by that, but here comes the Arm the Dangerous, Invisible Boundary, comes out, Tanuki, countered by Sparker, traded Djalia, goes down, but guess what? That Meteor M is down, but Fi is also down, so he's not going to be in this fight with that ultimate. Captain America delaying. Here comes another ultimate from Sparker. Up to the height, towards the Hella, forces him away. Does he have heals? He gets the shield. He comes back into the fight. He kills Sparker, comes back in. But where is Fi? They need to mark him because he has a free ultimate. If he's able to get it off, that could be gross. Nemvix falls so low. Dies, falling to the point. Pushed away is Finzi. And finally, in overtime, Berber get it done.
What a clutch kite back there from Pokey. Ken's there with the Invisible Woman shield, able to stabilize the position. And what looked like a potential full hold from Virtus.pro ultimately crumbles. Berber Patapim are going to get that cart rolling, but they have very little margin for error now. It's still a great defense out of Virtus.pro. Berber Patapim, though, with this more mobile composition, I think they're very happy to get past that single checkpoint part of the map. Now they have a lot more opportunity to play dynamically and hit from multiple angles. We'll see how Virtus.pro are able to deal with that. Djalia taking a lot of poke from a flank here. See if the follow-up is there. And Iron Man struggling, just barely gets healed in time. And oh my, Virtus.pro are so insane. How did they possibly clutch that?
I think they might just have like the best support line in the game or something. Like that is.
That's a good reason. That's a pretty good reason.
It's like that guy was 1 HP. I mean, yeah, he had his E up too. That's why Iron Man's so good now, though, is because you get overhealth whenever you go maximum overdrive. So now Fi just kind of spamming on this card. I mean, Enzo tries to walk up. You have a minute and 30 seconds left to go in the streets phase because of how long that first point lasted. Berber also has ults to go. I mean, this is such a high-level game right now. Here comes Tanuki on the height, just dropping out the ultimate, maybe trying to force the Stratus ult. No Stratus ult met, but it doesn't seem like they need it. I mean, yeah, they just perfectly heal that.
Yeah, it's a great shield by Ken, though, to get Tanuki out after the hook. But now Tanuki being chased, and he's low on cooldown. Sparker smells blood in the water, able to strike. And Berber Patapim have struggled to find some key connections here around this point. This is where Virtus.pro chose to defend, like playing a little bit more on the close range angle. Pokey is not obvious to me how he can get value on the Hela in this position. A little bit awkward on the walk up. Finzi just punishing everyone as they try to take the map control. And Nevix on the Groot is a real problem, right? Stepping up on Iron Man is a scary proposition for NCO, but they've got to get on this cart. They've got to start pressuring it.
Yeah, you have that Groot ultimate, like you said, that can get eaten by Meteor M, but then afterwards, Fi has his ultimate for free, basically. Paulie just trying to live. That's a lot of damage coming through. It's been multiple fights now where VP just has a player at 1 HP. They stay alive, and they just don't even need to use ultimates now. Coming up on 5 ultimates. Saipe obviously used his invisible boundary in the previous one, so you do have Stratus ultimate advantage.
Finzi.
How does he get that elimination?
Yeah, just a miraculous kill there with the Mad Cannon. Now they immediately turn to the back and see how aware Nevix is protecting those impressive supports they have. It's an early dance floor coming out from the offense. Virtus.pro are just kiting. They haven't even responded with ultimates of their own. They're going to be in a massive advantage here in this fight. Ken has a dance floor or has the invisible woman barrier here, but like they don't even force anything out of VP from that dance floor. That's a really rough scenario. Nevix is holding on to this Groot ultimate with the combo from Fi. This could be devastating. Berber Patapim trying to play it a little bit slower. Now they're caught. Invisible boundary isn't enough, just barely able to kite away. But the dance floor used so many ults from VP. They have double strategist ultimate to kill through this long fight.
Meteor yeeted into Narnia. I mean, they're still delaying it, luckily, but yeah, you have Sparker's ultimate ready to go after this captain. America ult. Saipe also has invisible boundary to Tanuki, who's going to have the Dance of the Butterflies up. They're playing it back. Freedom charge is over. Here comes the fate of the, the Dance of the Butterflies. Able to get Trichel as he walks into the ult. Sparker gets one, comes back onto the back line. Another one. Give him 3. Give him 4. Pokey falls. Everybody else towards the payload just to get crushed by a Kraken. Sparker with a 5K.
Okay, VP showing their strength here on the Hull of Djalia. Almost a full hold on first point. Berber Patapim just barely able to squeak it over the line, get that cart rolling, but only 100 meters to work with here. We need a very solid first point hold from Berber Patapim. I'm curious to see, will they play that dive style here on defense? Historically, this has been a map where I think dive has looked pretty weak to me. It's looked very strong to just play these straightforward poke comps. That being said, Berber Patapim did almost blow open first point with the Spider-Man, so I don't know what to believe anymore.
I think the Spider-Man honestly was fine, Jake. Like it almost worked. I just feel like every fight was perfect. I don't know. Like you said, like the strategists of VP are just so good at, hitting their cooldowns, keeping their members alive. And it's tough. I don't know. Like Berber, I don't think they did anything necessarily that wrong. Like the only downside is like they played the Rocket Raccoon. They tried to like damage boost play with the See You Later, and they were able to get one, right? Like we saw with, I think it was Finzi going down on the defense. But then after they came back into it down Finzi, they just like were able to get rid of the See You Later, and with that ultimate gone, they just had no strategist ultimates.
I thought the dance floor pop from Berber Patapim was just a little bit too early. They basically popped it like as they're walking up, and VP full kited that ultimate with no ultimate in exchange. That's almost an unforgivable mistake there from Berber Patapim, that you can't get any ultimates out of the other team. For me, dance floor maybe is the best ultimate in the game. I mean, it's arguable, but it just has so much utility, so much value. Can even start damage amping when you're full HP. Like the fact that you can't force anything out of VP, I think that's where the defense really does start to crumble. Sparker, the punch back with the Kraken impact is devastating. Berber Patapim gonna go with the res comp defense here.
And we have not seen them play this comp yet either, so I'm curious to see how they play it. We've seen them play the other way around for VP, the one playing that Iron Man comp. It's Berber on that map number 1 who played it. So
buffs here. He's getting every buff from the team in the Iron Man, and Iron Man's one of those heroes who really does just make hay with those buffs and able to really pump a lot of damage. Sparker looking for a hook here, just barely not able to pull one in, but tank. Looks like he's dropping low here. Forces that soul bond out of the Adam Warlock, continuing this fight. Saipe has the first ultimate. Do VP want to pull the trigger? Yes, they do. They come early and fast. You don't have responses quite yet for Patapim. Strategists are trying desperately to keep people alive, but they lose one of the Vanguards. Ultimate into the backline. Strange takes it with his body. And it's a great offense for Virtus.pro.
That was like a curved ultimate. That was insane. I honestly, Jake, here they come back through with the ultimates. Okay, they have 3 members of the team. We can talk about this afterwards, but it's all the strategists. I mean, they're trying to turn themselves into tank. Here comes that Star-Lord. Galactic Legend into the Groot ultimate. Can they stay alive? Nope. Not even with the fate of the world. You have the damage boost on their side. Everybody else falls. You have Paulie show up through that strange portal, but nobody's there to touch, and they're all back to the spawn. Jake, this triple rest comp, if you play as passive...
They're stalling. This is actually bad. If he gets stalled like this, Sparker is just like styling on him right now. If he dies super late, this could be a last fight scenario. This is one of those things that VP, like, they're just different, bro. They're playing the game on another level when they find value like this. Like, that could be the map right here. Like, for Patapim, they need to just give up all of the map control until they get back. I don't think they can fight this 5v6, and Virtus.pro are trying to force exactly that.
Well, and they were trying to switch off that Adam comp too, so... Yeah, that's a yikes for me, dog.
It's basically game. Okay, they're able to get back around the corner, though, so they are going to stabilize for that one final engagement here for Patapim. Still a winnable scenario. They have a couple ults to work with. Doctor Strange would love to find a connection. Here he goes, pushing him, but yeah, you know they're way too good about that. He does still get a connection on the Nevix and Fi, but it's not enough to secure kills for Patapim. Under a lot of pressure here, caught in the corner. Fi is just dumping damage from high ground.
Yeah, and Paulie has to hold on to the Meteor M4 that Iron Man the whole time. Snooki falls again, man. This is just getting smoked at this point. Here comes the Meteor M, just kind of out of desperation. Paulie able to get 1-2, did find Dridro, so that's something, but now Iron Man is sort of free. Invisible boundary here from Ken. Doesn't have the ultimate necessarily just yet, too, so Fi taking a little bit too long to build the ultimate, and he's going to fall because of it.
Okay, this should be a cleanup now for the defense. Patapim popping a couple ultimates, able to get this one done. They're able to hold on to the dance floor as well. Sparker striking back like that, though, so maybe Patapim don't want to chase too much farther. Without your Bucky, it starts to get a little bit sketchy. Virtus.pro, though, I mean, they have so many chances at this. It's only going to take one fight, 3:30 on the clock, and Nevix has the ultimate once again. We see that they're consistently able to just focus fire through strategist ultimates. I'm not sure what Patapim can do. They just cannot give up a big Groot ult. If they get caught like 3 or more, that's going to be the map.
Yeah, at least there's 2 shields to maybe block that Groot, maybe block the Iron Man. But like you said, Jake, I mean, Sparker with the Kraken impact is always there to finish off these eliminations. Groot does have to walk up, though, and they're getting that space by doing so, but it's costing a lot of cooldowns. There's a yeet of the Groot to make connects on to 4, 5, 6 people. Here comes the Kraken impact, met by... Oh! Hey! See you later! And that ends the map.
Yeah. Yeah, the maximum pulse onto your whole team from the back. Yeah, that's a way to do it. VP, snag another map win. Now, Patapim back in the driver's seat, an opportunity to send us to a map pick. So far, the Black Panther was an incredibly dominant strategy on domination, but we've only seen it on Hell's Heaven. So if that's your winning play for Patapim, not only do you have to win that on another map, which we haven't seen from them yet, doesn't mean it's impossible, we haven't seen it, but as well as that, you're gonna have to take Virtus.pro on map 5, a map of Virtus.pro's choosing if you even get there.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you're just like, yeah, that was generally going to be the ult combo there. So kind of close though. I mean, like, that's all we're really looking for in EU is someone to be close.
I think you know, first of all, I think
I want more. I wanted somebody who can take down the Kings. All right. Patapim, I'm not letting you off easy. I want to see it. We know you have what it takes. They've been playing them close. A lot of these fights extremely contested. I dare say this is the closest match we've had against Virtus.pro. I think it's pretty comfortable here.
It's been a good one. It's been a very, very good one. So map pick goes to Patapim. Dustin, what do you think? Do they have something that would, make them advantageous? They're flanky kind of team. So is there something that you would look forward to them as what their map pick would be?
Yeah, we're probably heading to another domination game. I think we're going to burn into Djalia, which is the other Wakanda map that we were talking about earlier. I think that's just inevitability at this point.
I'm just scared because Burn into Djalia does not strike me as that good of a BP map. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I just think it's like the last one. I mean, they could pick.
They could pick the what is it? The
Royal Palace. But is Royal Palace even in the map pool? Because I know some maps got pulled out.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I don't know about in Fight Night necessarily, but wait, how did that curve, by the way? Am I crazy? Was that a deflect or something? What?
I think the Strange just like dropped in from above and soaked it with his body, and like his like left hand got hit with the maximum pulse.
That was crazy. And well, another thing too, though, is that like if we talk about compositions, I think we can all agree that like for as good as Psylocke is, and I think people are kind of overrating Psylocke right now, even like even myself. Because I feel like without the Emma Frost team up, I'm not going to say it falls off a cliff necessarily, but it doesn't look as
that team up is really good. Like that team up is kind of ridiculous in terms of that initial burst when you're like trying to just pop somebody down and you just are blowing every cooldown at once on Psylocke. The team up gives you exactly what you want, which is just more damage, which is, you know, from Psylocke's perspective, so powerful. Especially when Emma Frost is creating all this like distraction in the front line. She's slowing people down for you with the ultimate. It's a not just, I think the best team ups are ones without just the team up buff, but also some natural like play style synergy.
Well, at the very, very least, a team took a map off VP. So that's always nice. We always like
Parker,
to see
by the way,
that.
stays the GOAT on Bucky. That was like he more or less single-handedly shut down some of those dives from the Venom and the Spider-Man. And like that is not an easy matchup to play on Bucky. You need your head on the swivel. You're trying to hit hooks on people moving at like Mach 3. I will say Dreedro and Saipe are also an incredibly hard support duo to take down.
Yeah. So in a strange event, we're going to take a break, and we're still going to have more matches after this. It's not going to be a 3-0. We'll see you after the break.
I forgot we have a halftime.
Yeah, we have a halftime. It's going to be the third map halftime. Virtus.pro, Patapim, coming back after this. Virtus.pro, Berber Patapim. EU is competitive this week. It has been crazy good. You love to see it. My God, I'm just so happy. I'm so happy that what we're seeing right here. Look, Virtus.pro's, I'm gonna get in my DMs of like, hey, why are you happy we're losing? But you know, I gotta show the market. It's been so good. Beer Patapim like has the map choice here, Dustin. What are we doing? Are we gonna run Black Panther again?
It is Burn T'Challa. Okay.
That is that.
I think we're just going to domination probably for the rest, at least for Berber. But that's the problem, is that like even if they win it here, then VP goes to another convoy or something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, long term, this should be a map win for Berber, and if it's not, I mean, shout out to VP for another win if they were to do it.
Yeah, so you have to win your bad choice.
I'm still skeptical, frankly, about VP or Black Panther on this map. I just think the stages are pretty. It's domination, so yes, you could like come from the flanks, but it's very open, and I think that's a challenge for VP compared to like Hell's Heaven, where there's so many corners, so many angles to be hitting from. It's very hard to mark them all. This is a map where if you're playing out in the open, if you're just like slinging damage from range, VP does not do that, right? Like he is all in on these like super explosive dives. There's also the banned pick phase to consider. And now that, you know, your hand has been shown a little bit, Virtus.pro can maybe threaten some of these. Like, I wonder how central is Hulk to the composition.
Right.
You know, maybe you could early ban the BP if you're that worried about it.
Right. But we know that the first ban's going to be Human Torch. That's always going to be the first ban.
I think the Luna Snow and the Namor are also important parts of the BP comp, even though they're a little bit slept on in terms of like they're not obviously part of the dives with Black Panther. I think the fact that Black Panther forces the regeneration domain from Loki all the time means that the Luna Snow damage boosted Namor ult is like very consistently one-shotting people, which is another huge problem where you're trying to save this regeneration domain and there's so many threats on you trying to force it out. It's a real problem for Loki's.
Yeah. So obviously it's been Human Torch number one.
You know what?
All the way through.
Well, you know what? Hanks is actually, I mean, it's probably a hot take, and it's like, obviously, you probably want to ban the Human Torch, but I think there's a small % chance they let it go through, honestly, and try something else, just because, I mean, this map, if any map or domination in general, I guess they would have done on Hell's Heaven, don't get me wrong, but,
yeah,
you know, I actually feel like this is maybe a map where you could just counter Human Torch by existing on, like, a dive character or something, because you're just always contested. It's like how you wouldn't want to play Iron Man, almost. I mean, obviously, Human Torch does more than Iron Man, but, like, at least that Human Torch is, like, limited to, you know, the ground at least.
but by just existing, you could do something. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, Torch is like, probably, you're right, Hex. I think it's like 99% chance, but there's that 1% chance.
I think Human Torch is a god hero right now.
He is a god hero.
It feels like until somebody stops first banning him, I feel like every single match we have seen with this ban format, bar none, it's been a Human Torch insta-ban from both teams. So the sample size is getting pretty crazy for like, if it was anything else, I'll just be surprised.
Well, he's getting nerfed.
Why is that, Jake? Is he good? Is he good here?
He's really good. I think he's really good. I think he doesn't tunnel you into any one certain comp. And I think he's just like, he's like another hero that does what Iron Man does, like constantly pumping damage and spam. But I think the fact that you build these like on ground damage area of effect things is a real problem for these Lokis. Anyone who wants to hold down a certain position, you're effectively denying that position without even investing a hero into it. All you're doing is basically like leaving your fire on the ground.
That's always the thing. It's like how the maps are designed. And like you're just like, hey, here's 90 meters of AoE damage. Like, what are you gonna do about that? So early bans are Human Torch, Torch on both sides, of course.
Known casual hexagrams. Throws a softball question and then answers it himself afterwards as well. And it's almost like he's not a casual. Oh my god.
He's faking. He's faking. He's faking. Casual. Not
casual.
Hey, listen, I am a super casual. I am the best player in gold for sure. Yeah. What's going to be our fourth bans here, guys?
I mean, it's probably.
You can't call me a casual then not be smart.
Emma Frost. I
didn't have. I mean, it's like better. The thing is, gold is not casual because most people haven't gone out of bronze. So it's like, it's tough. But the Loki bans coming through again for VP. They really don't want Berber to play that comp, like you said, Jake.
I like the group ban from Berber. I mean, Nevix is a huge problem on that character. They're going to protect the Hulk here. Okay. So maybe Virtus.pro wanted to bring some of that dive tempo of their own. I mean, in the past, they were a team that played a lot of Hulk, or sorry, played a lot of the Thing, even when other teams were playing Hulk, and they kind of shifted the meta towards that. So the Hulk protect is a little interesting here.
Feels like we're definitely going to have a Discordance frontline based on how they ban.
I like the No More ban, actually. I like the No More ban a lot. Taking away that combo is, I actually think the Luna No More combo is still good. Like the one-shotting people with an ultimate is still good. Like the fact that it kills through all the strategist ultimates, the only thing that protects you is the is like the regeneration domain. I think is a big problem.
I agree. They were telegraphed with like trying to play that because obviously you maybe think that they're going to ban Loki out instead. But now they don't want to play it on their side, so they're just going to ban it to make sure they don't also play that anymore. The Hulk, that is. That is interesting. So Loki's going to get through for VP then, correct? And then, Berber is back to their whatever the hell they were running, Invisible Woman Luna, which is good. Don't get me wrong. But I think you were right.
Which is interesting because I think they protected Loki Luna last map, but they didn't play it. They chose the Invisible Woman over the Loki. And I was a little bit surprised by that. I was really, singing the praises of the Loki copied Luna Snow and thinking that it's still just like insanely potent. I think it is. Maybe they'll play it here on Burn It T'Challa. Maybe
it's. I think that it's like theoretically, Invisible Woman is better for flyers, right? Because you can give your shield to the.
That's true. You can allow your like single flanker with like high damage to just be a lot more aggressive. And if they're in that 1v1, they're going to be massively advantaged.
A bit of the bubble play for BB Patapim. Guys, it is 2v1. Virtus.pro actually kind of in a little bit of trouble here. We'll see. Take us away, Dogman.
I'm in. It's all or nothing right now for Berber Patapim. They're going to try to steal Virtus.pro's. At this point, it's like a royalty for VP showing up.
Yeah, the belt, baby.
Yeah, they get the belt.
I mean, by the way, chat, 9.9K followers on the channel right now. This is a hype match. I know we can make it to 10K here on this stream. We're so incredibly close. So if you're watching, if you're enjoying this match, you're not following yet, we put on Rivals Fight Night every week, every Thursday. We are here with the best teams in both EU and North America. So please give us a follow. Let's get to 10K and let's get into this match, Dogman.
Gridro gets dove upon already by Captain America. Pokey as well gets on the Spark. So Sparker kind of caught out there. Looks like trying to rotate towards the point, and really good target focus from Berber, who are now playing Jeff, by the way. So we're back onto that cap. Jeff, that got through, and we completely forgot about it because, like I was telling you before, Jake, it feels like a lot of teams think Iron Man counter Jeff.
Yeah, they're trying to just continue to play with it. Despite getting that first pick, it felt like VP, despite being down 1, they're just still dominating, right? They like just crush through. Berber Patapim Let's see if they're able to continue to hold this choke point. This is an awkward spot though for VP. Like, how do they break out of this when you're surrounded on all sides? Like, Jeff and Cap are loving this scenario where they can just hit from different flank angles. Invisible Woman ult is popped, but you're not able to contest the point with the Invisible Woman ult. They're just pumping damage on Groot. But the defensive Invisible Woman cast from Berber Patapim secures the situation for now. Connection on from 5, but not enough for kills.
A good avoidance, and Pokey's there. I mean, Fi's perspective, like, it just seemed like you threw the pulse out, dove back down, and some horror villain came and just one-shot you. So now, Psylocke ultimate to the backline, Groot ultimate committed from Enzo as well, and honestly, at that rate, it might have been a little bit overkill in terms of ultimates, but right now, walking down Virtus.pro, Fi's over to Iron Fist, and honestly, don't mind that swap, but not sure if it necessarily deals with the Jeff.
Dude, I'm still a believer in the Jeff Cap. Maybe there's answers,
right,
but
no.
I just think it injects so much chaos. And think about how good Tanuki has been across many different characters when he's on this space creator role. He's flanking you, he's hitting you from the off angles, and now with the Cap ult, they're just gonna dive in, attack as a full unit here. You can MF Frost ult all you want, but they don't need anything else but the Cap. Jeff looking for a big eat here.
Invisible Woman.
Just grab the one, kidnap the Invisible Woman.
Fine. Yeah, take her to Narnia.
Solo her, right? Like, this is gonna be a little 1v1 here for Saipe.
Oh, he's invisible.
Immediate invis. Dance clutches that one out, but he's still pulling away from the fight. And so Berber Patapim fighting 5-on-5 as both players regroup to their teams.
I don't know how Saipe lived there. That was just really good movement from him. Both supports pocketing each other on the backside, obviously, but they still have to worry about that point. We're already at 90%. And right now, VP have to toss in that invisible boundary aggressively. Now here comes Sparker. They are able to take down Enzo. That's huge. Ken also falls low before his ultimate. Oh, he gets it off. Sparker, is the damage there? On the inside of the boundary. It's not. They're turning it right now. They're coming back to the point, though. Nevix with the Freedom Charge still available, so they can kind of control the point with the ultimate, but it's still not flipped. It was so close to flipping, and yet VP were not able to flip it until just now. Pauly gets tracked down through Finzi, and everybody's resetting now for Berber.
He pops the Freedom Charge. I think that's an uncharacteristic mistake out of VP. I don't think they needed this ult to be able to close out that fight. And it's going to be one of those powerful defensive supporting ults. Sparker, by the way, has gone to the mirror on the Jeff, so he's putting some respect on it. Now the retake here for Berber Patapim. Pokey has been so successful in the past with the flank fights. Now it looks like Jeff's taking that duel, but threat of the Psylocke coming and interrupting the 1v1 is very real.
Actually, I like the Iron Fist, I think, a little bit more than the Psylocke with this, unless Pokey, okay, forces an ultimate. It's great positioning, but he needs to not get picked here. Double dash away, doesn't have invis, he's getting tracked. Yeah, maybe he has to do that. Nope, just goes invisible. Luckily able to get that cooldown up in time, but Drodro in his ultimate, about to be over. Saipe doesn't have his. Here's on the point, dashes away towards his team. Here comes that Psylocke ultimate. There's nothing to save him. There's a cap on your face with the Psylocke, smoking you. Back to the spawn you're heading. Drodro and Saipe go. Finzi able to trade back to Nuki at the very least, but that's one annoying Jeff down. But nobody else is here towards the point. Here comes a cheaper town hole, as the community likes to call it. Fine. Kind of just bouncing around, trying to stall, right? Wait for that Doctor Strange to come back. Here comes the Jeff ultimate. Towards the point as well from Sparker. Does he connect on anybody? Looks like it's the back line. No, he missed, and he's down. Pokey takes down the Jeff who missed the ultimate, and VP's without the shark.
They have the Strange Portal. Getting back into this fight, Berber Patapim are going to commit the Freedom Charge, and with a couple kills, that seems like it'll be enough here. Virtus.pro struggling. Portal is down. Just Finzi and Drodro trying to hold this on point, but it's all Berber Patapim here in the feed. Going to be grabbing this first round here. Solid map for them. Great pullout of the Jeff and the Cap. Something we forgot about here earlier on in the series, but the fact that they got the Luna as well really enables this combo to shine.
I mean, Pokey's looking beautiful, man, on this Psylocke. I mean, I know I'd like kind of trashed on him without the Emma team up, but it's kind of working out, right, with these cap dives and the Jeff. I mean, there's just how do you deal with this as like a support player, Jake? Like if you were to go back to coach mode, like what, like does Saipe and Saipe and Drodro mix anything up, or is it not anything they're doing? It's just like a, you know, having to switch comps mid-map sort of thing.
From my perspective, these types of comps, like when both teams are full committing on killing the other backline, it's not that you're basically going to die on strategists. It's gonna happen. The game is about who can live just a little bit longer, right? Because if your divers are cleaning up the enemy backline a little bit quicker, that means you're turning back and responding to the enemy dive a little bit quicker. You're going to end up in the advantage in the long fight. So it's all about stalling for time and just lasting that little bit longer. The strategists have to be very aware and controlling each other, continuing to keep each other up when one of you is targeted. Also, something like the freezes for the MF Frost, I think, are going to be particularly huge. If you can like freeze the Psylocke, you can turn things around on her, but such a difficult skill shot to land on players as good as Pokey.
Now Berber up around, looking to tie the series if they win this upcoming map.
Pokey low.
No way. He's there.
Yeah, able to crush in the 1v1. And there's the heal. The Saipe very aware. Keeps Djalia alive from the flank pressure. Without Pokey, it's not enough to really threaten. By taking a bit of pressure himself, though, Patapim continuing to fight this despite being down a player. It's a bit of a risky play, but they've got the ultimates to deploy. And Alex in the chaos finds Fi, starting to turn this one back towards Patapim. No point flip. Yep, and it's going to be BBP who are going to be up in the player advantage. Ultimates, though, coming down from Virtus.pro.
Yeah, Djalia with a great ultimate, able to take down Alex as well with the boost. Here comes Invisible Boundary as well from Saipe. Having used a lot of ultimates, they were able to find Alex, so no fate of the world's there in this fight, but the point's still not taken. Here comes that Psylocke ultimate. Is Jeff trying to heal the team? He cannot. Jeff not doing enough in the current patch. Both strategists falling, or sorry, 2 of the 3 strategists, because Jeff technically is one. Meanwhile, Freedom Charge from Nevix there. Kind of delay the point. Without strategists now, they need to find elimination, but the fate of the world from Alex is going to be a little bit too strong here. Also, Jeff ultimate committed by Sparker. It looks like he did eat one, but Nevix kind of just stalling the point. Nobody has taken this objective necessarily just yet, by the way. This has been the 2-minute fight. Sparker with the able to throw off Enzo. Here comes Fi over the height, just kind of punching towards the back line, forcing out that Freedom Charge. Not able to find an elimination just yet, but at least forcing away this Captain America. Coming back to peel off the Jeff. Point still not taken, by the way. VP lose Saipe.
This is big, that Freedom Charge, getting a bit of value now. Patapim find a second, finding a bit of purchase in this fight. Fi trying to back up, trying to get to a health back, but just gets chased down by Pokey. And it's a long, extended brawl here for the first control. Patapim struck second blood in that engagement, but they were able to clutch it out with the help of the ultimates. Now both teams pretty low on ultis. Doctor Strange as well here for Ken. Bit of an awkward scenario with the triple Vanguard, only the one strategist, and they don't have the strategist ultimate, so that Luna Snow ulti is going to be crucial in this fight. That being said, Pokey also has a potential Dance of the Butterfly, and there's no strategist ultimate yet available. Into the backline, though, Patapim trying to take this fight, and Fi is struggling here to deal with the Jeff.
Yeah, I don't know how much time Fi has on this Iron Fist, but right now, he's struggling for sure. Nevix goes down, Fi's punching away. Maybe he finds the trade. We just cast the curse in a good way for Fi as he finds 3 immediately with his cheaper Town Hall. Virtus.pro, good fight for them. They take the point.
Wow, no connection there from the Dance of the Butterfly. Able to get to the background, but wasn't able to finish the kills. That's Saipe and Djalia showing that incredible proficiency on strategists that we've come to expect from them. And the point flips once again. It's been a very back and forth affair. A lot of it comes down to these duelist 1v1s. And Jeff, he's a duelist. Strategist, that's a mislabeling.
Telling you, man, we need to get like a flex roll or something, because there's a lot of heroes like that where Jeff misassumed to be a support. He's not in this game. He's not really strategist. He's a flanker like he is now. But they're there with the invisible boundary. At least you get that ultimate out early, right?
Position for the boundary, though. It's not going to really help them in the engagement. The Freedom Charge, allowing Patapim to take a lot of position on point. That being said, Nevix has the better Freedom Charge, being bullied around by NZO.
And the Meteor M not able to connect as well. Here comes the Psionic. On the inside angle, Jeff. Oh, about to be brought in by Finzi. Doesn't connect on it. He goes low. In fact, falls to Pokey, who, by the way, is playing phenomenal. Taking down the Emma Frost. That is a huge member down. Nevix pooped down below, trying to jump back up. Too late because he's lost both of his strategists. Djalia and Saipe both fall. And at this rate, we're entering stall territory. Finzi is on that strange, like you said. Spark able to get one off the map of Alex at the very least, but Enzo takes down Fi. Here's the portal. I mean, they're stalling this out, Jake.
They are, but it's going to be an eat here on the Doctor Strange. See if they want to spit him off the map or just trying to delay this death. I think can Strange play his way out of this. Oh, I love that. Tanuki shoots him straight down into the kill box. Still a little bit more stalling coming out from BP, getting them a bit more time. Fi finds one. All right, hold on. This is a little scary. Patapim got to tighten up. They got to clean this one up. Fi pops the ultimate, continuing to tank through, trying to get BP up to that 99%. Fi just using the ultimate basically to disengage and come back for a pack, but that ends up costing a teammate their life. Still just stalling a little bit more. The dance floor comes in as well. They're going all in for this, and Fi still has a little bit more ultimate left.
And now here's a Freedom Charge coming back through on the backside. And Iron Fist, unkillable demon yet again, similar to how we saw that Black Panther earlier, just kind of dashing around. Here comes Alex as well, or here he comes towards Alex. But he's just kind of taking too much damage now. Will fall, and I mean, they're still in control of the point, Jake. VP not giving it up until now.
Saipe also trades onto Tanuki. So Patapim trying to do a little bit too much there, trying to get kills and cap the point. Instead, they're only able to get the cap. Jeff should be back relatively quickly. It's a 5-on-5 for the retake, though, and Virtus.pro are quick to capitalize. They're pushing through that choke. They want to take the fight before the 6th member is up. but this could be the last fight of the map. It's going to go long, and for Patapim, that stall was expensive for VP. Here's the ultimate straight to the backline, trying to force that invisible boundary out of sight. There it is. Catapult as well, so double ult force from VP. I think a mistake for them in that fight.
I don't like how Enzo's using his Meteor M right now. It feels like really tough how he's not able to get an elimination, but they come back with their own invisible boundary. Yeah, it's a good spot. VP backs it up for now, though. They know they have another fight here, unless Jeff. Oh, he got Iron Fist, and he got the Luna Snow. Counter read comes out. Jeff gets eaten. Tanuki trying to run away. Dash back around. It's Iron Fist and Luna Snow, so not really killable characters together. Needs to live. He's getting punched in the face, but as Jeff used to getting punched in the nose, it looks like today as Paulie and Gru collapse upon him. And you don't have Portal here, Jake, so I mean, it's looking pretty over right now for VP.
Yeah, this should be it. Cap trying to be a desperate touch here on the point. Looks like just barely going to trigger the over 10, but it's going to cost him his life, and I don't think there's going to be a follow-up touch. So Patapim here, striking back in the series, forcing that decisive game 5, showing that they are the team to give a true test of Virtus.pro, but the real test, it's going to be game 5. Virtus.pro still has the power to take this to a map where they are in control. They can decide the tempo where this series will be decided. Patapim are going to have to dig deep and show that they can win outside of domination.
Yeah, dig deep they must. I just think this next map here, Jake and Hex, it's going to be definitely one for the ages, considering how EMEA has gone, like you guys have said. Is this the first like 5 mapper we've had in EMEA, or am I crazy?
This is the first time we've had a team take 2 maps off VP.
Yeah, this is the first 2 map take off VP. So as much as VP might have mucked around and found out on map 1s or whatnot, I feel like this one might be the, oh wow, we have to take this one seriously.
I mean, VP, they for sure are taking this game seriously. I mean, this is just an outplay. Patapim are the stronger team right now in this highly mobile dive comp. They brought out the depth of the Jeff cap that we didn't see on earlier maps that was proved to be super valuable here. I felt like the BP wasn't going to work. And I think they had the same read. They had just a different strat in the book. I think Virtus.pro got caught a little bit flat-footed by that from the opening rollout, that they weren't on the Jeff. And then after it came out, Sparker's like, oh shit, we have to take that mirror.
I always love when a dive comp works out. I feel like it's very antithetical to how Europe generally plays. Like, in my opinion, Europe always plays kind of brawly and slow and sluggishly. And North America is generally more like that super aggro dive comp. So this is super interesting to see how it plays out. And yes, it's the first time that we've drawn blood. All this for a drop of blood. VP. Crazy. I don't know. I don't even have like great thing to say. I'm just so excited that we're seeing this. If you're VP right now, let me just ask you a dumb question that so I can stop talking. If you're VP right now, Dustin, like, what's your map pick? What do you go to? Like, how do you not lose for your first time ever?
Oh man, I think you just gotta send it to. Do we see Idjicel path yet, or no? They took us to
the Hall de Djalia was their pick earlier, so I wouldn't mind Idjicel path. I think it's going to be something in that vein, something long range and front to back, where Virtus.pro showed that they are still the kings, right? Of like defending the back line, of marking any kind of counterplay, and then when it comes to the ultimate management, the team fighting, they still look amazing. So Patapim, it's impressive that they brought it this far, but I feel like to come this close, you really want to deliver a win here. You don't want to be the first team to go 2 maps against VP. You want to be the first team to take them down.
A lot of zeros, and an occasional 1 on the board. Luminosity was like the only team. Patapim actually put up a map against them the first time with a 2 against Virtus.pro. This is how historic it is. This is a squad that's never lost. They never have lost Fight Night. The only time they didn't win Fight Night was the time they couldn't play Fight Night.
Have they ever lost in anything in EU? I mean, didn't they win like all the MRIs and MRCs for Europe?
Yeah, I think so.
VP is literally undefeated, like, ever in Marvel Rivals. That is unbelievable, right? Like, maybe I'm overstating it. They might have lost somewhere, but I've never seen it. I've never seen it happen.
I know they've never lost our show for sure. And 2-2 is an astounding number to even see back to back. So we'll see. Yeah, this one's wild.
Oh, okay. Symbiotic surface.
What do you think about that, Dustin?
Yeah, I mean that's another like front to back map that like Jake said, but actually I don't mind this map for like how Berber plays. This is like, except on third phase, I guess, like because it's so open on third point. This is not bad for dive. The tough part is that if you do give Loki over to Saipe, I mean this is like one of Loki's best maps, and supports and Strategist's best map in general, just like with that inside angle on first point on defense.
Jake, your response to that?
I agree. I think dive can work here, but I also feel that this is another place where VP, if they like really bunker down, like we've seen VP make a lot of full holds on Symbiotic surface, and I think it's also a point where, while you can dive on first, historically VP has been immaculate with controlling all of the flank angles. They do not allow divers to take the backline positions, and they do not allow them to get the surround. And so you end up diving from kind of awkward and forced angles where VP controls the engagement, they're positioning around it. And so I think the first point is going to be initially a very tough test. I mean, we saw in Hall of Djalia, it was almost a full hold. And I think that's where you're most worried. I agree, Dustin. I think second phase is where the dive can really get rolling. But the fact that once again on third, he might get slowed down.
Yeah. Well, dive also always feels terrible on defense. Like it's fun to be on attack on offense and dive and like have that. So those are usually better angles than how the map's designed.
But in the tough part of this game, it feels like, I don't know, like dives too in Marvel Rivals are kind of strange. Like it feels like you're almost flanking too far. Like it just feels like, you know, like when we see the Jeff or whatever, like it feels like Jeff's like in a weird spot. Like if you come from any other hero shooter, you're like, what the hell is this guy doing here? But like, just because of how the game works, like those are valuable.
I think dive is just a misnomer, frankly. And it's like always what we use to talk about the high mobility comps. But realistically, what makes dive works is not the fact that you jump on the same target together. That's like the end of the comp. What makes it work is that you can take every angle on the map and be hitting the enemy from all sides and drain all their resources out because they can't clear you out of your angles. So like Jeff is a great example of that. He's in the backline, he's spamming you, but when you try to turn on him, he runs away, and then you end up chasing him and you give up all the map control. You can't accomplish anything by hunting him down.
Like, what would you call it then instead of dive? It's like poke dive almost. It's like a hybrid.
Yeah, I think it really is. I mean, ultimately, it's another way to poke. You do dive is like the final stage of the comp, right? Like once you've generated the advantage, you do try to dive, and it does, you know, give it that signature style, give it that big flashy play. But in order to dive, you need to be surrounding the enemy. You need to be hitting them from all sides. It really, like a surround comp is probably like maybe a more accurate. But I mean, I'm not saying we change the name. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that
the name will stay.
It's a different mindset.
It's the most obvious name. For me, for someone dumb like me, like was it like angle control? Would that work? Is like that?
Look, we're not going to call it. Those names suck. All right, let's be real. The brand is not going to change.
It's always going to be dive.
But it's much more accurate to consider it as a comp that surrounds the enemy and takes control of the map from them.
Right.
Rather than
it's like a constrictor snake. It's like choking the life out of a mouse. You know, it's like
boa,
very
a
boa.
And then you just swallow them up
boa,
at the end, right?
No, because then we're gonna get like boa these nuts guys or something. I don't know, dude. Like it's not gonna go down a good path, I think.
Fair enough.
All tournaments record 22-0. Marvel Rivals Wikipedia.
Jesus,
goated, bro. Goated. And to be on the,
let me ask you this real quick, Dustin. Is that good?
I don't know, man. I think that's better than any team I played on ever.
That record sucks, bro. Me and Twitch chat, we would do way better than 22-0 all-time tournament record. Everyone in Twitch chat we would be like 100-0. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up, Twitch chat.
True, they got this.
Yeah, most players in Twitch are better than both of you guys. This is wild. I'm so excited to see, like, if it happens. I'm gonna be super bummed if it doesn't, and whatever. I don't know. Finzi will probably give chats like 15 subs anyway, so like, you know, it's just money laundering at this point.
I just like it. Like, yeah, it kind of is. But like, has anybody played particularly bad in this series? I feel like everybody's just kind of playing insane right now.
This is just a knockdown drag out. This is Berber Patapim playing to the level of Virtus.pro. I don't think this is VP stumbling. When we talked about how Berber Patapim needed to be an innovative team, they needed to create a strategic edge in the series, and I think they've done that. That being said, the fact that Virtus.pro won map 1, and think about all the way back to map 1, how there were those incredibly close moments where Berber Patapim could have taken it. That's the value you get now for VP, is that the end of this series, map 5, it's going to be their choice. It's going to be their decision to bring it to Symbiotic Surface. And The question is for Berber Patapim is their style going to work here? Do they have the depth to come to a map that they haven't played much before? Is the style going to work? I don't think they're fully going to know. They're going to have to just take that gamble and still have faith that they can make it work.
I think it's a fantastic point because it's a level up from Patapim. It's not a level down from Virtus.pro. Like, we're just seeing one team has gotten better and they figured out what they do and what they do very, very well. And Virtus.pro's just tasked with the idea of dealing with it, right? So it's that entirely.
Yeah, I think we all thought Berber was going to be good, but not this good for sure. Like they've leveled up, man. And and it's tough because if we look at the maps, like you guys said, I mean, this is going back to our original topic where I thought maybe we go to Idrissel or something. But I think Solomon, our producer, put in the stats. Right now, VP versus Berber in the entirety of all tournaments are 4-0 on Symbiotic Surface. So, just win rate alone, they just win on Symbiotic Surface versus Berber, at least historically.
And I think as good as second is for Dive, the more I think about it, the more I think first and third are rough. At first, almost especially, where I have seen Dive work, but I think VP is really smart team, and I think Dive only works on surface if you get control of the defender's high ground position, where once you get players into that back line and they start, hitting, knocking on the back door of the defense, that defense does start to crumble. But if you just get forced to do a front to back, and if you can never win the fight on that back line high ground, if you can't slip some of your duelists and a strategist back there, I don't think it's going to work, and I think VP knows that.
Yeah, it's kind of like if we go back to even Hall of the Djalia, I would say it's even worse. I think you're right. It is even worse on first point on that map. Theoretically, it's worse for that defense. But it's Symbiotic Surface with the inside part. You have a health pack to play around too for the strategist. So yeah, I think at first I was like, okay, maybe Dive would be good here because you could take so many angles in that first point. But maybe you're right.
So explain to the folks out there, some people who are not smart, not me. That's not what I meant.
No,
not me. What do you mean by front to back?
So when I talk about a map being front to back, really I just mean a map without many off angles. You can't hit from the sides, where we talked about that idea of this Dive being a comp that wants to surround the enemy.
Right.
It's essentially the opposite of that. The more you can prevent
linear,
that,
right?
Yeah, the more linear a map is, the more you're just more or less shooting at each other's faces. That's full front to back. And that's the comps that VP have looked amazing at. That's kind of where they cut their teeth over the months here in Marvel Rivals. They've shown the ability to compete as well and look amazing on dive comps. But Berber Patapim has clearly had the edge when they're making the game chaotic. They're hitting the back line from different angles. They've been the one to take the initiative. And so far, it's been Virtus.pro who caught in the back foot there. A lot of their side pace ultimates were forced off point because of that.
Yeah, so kind of like tank heavy, sustain heavy kind of thing. Would that make sense, Dustin?
Yeah.
Does that apply?
I mean, it's just not very. It's very straightforward. It's almost like I would say the Adam Warlock comp was kind of like that from what we've seen, Adam Warlock triple res with the Star Lord, because you're just okay, the strategy is pretty obvious. You just or
go OG forward. Punisher Hella. You just shoot each other until one duelist is gonna kill the other Vanguard or the other duelist because they hit more shots, and that's the front to back comp in a nutshell.
Right. Yeah, front to back, and then we have the Boa Constrictor dive. I don't. We don't.
It's just much more about strategists tend to dive
you can't
first.
Keep
for
saying
instance,
I'm gonna make it a thing. It's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a thing, bro. It's gonna be a thing.
It's a thing.
I can make it a thing, dude.
We'll
Let me cook.
You can't make fetch a thing. Fetch is not a thing.
What is that from? Wait, I'm
I think that's
unknowledgeable.
What is it from? Mean Girls?
Yeah. Mean Girls. You guys are movie heads here, right?
Yeah. I'm a movie head.
No,
is that what Fight Night came from?
I've never seen a movie in my life.
Oh, I would never watch a movie. I'm a video games only. Video games only till I die.
I saw you guys see Thunderbolt recently. We're waiting for Berber Patapim because typical reasons. You guys see Thunderbolt yet?
Thunderbolts.
The new Marvel movie, man. This new Marvel movie.
I didn't see it. Was it good?
Oh, was it Bolts?
Yeah.
It wasn't Thunderbolt?
I don't know.
No, it's not singular.
Help us out.
It's definitely plural.
It was plural. You're right. I mean, it makes sense because there's multiple of them, huh?
I've also not seen it. No.
Oh, I saw it. It was not bad. I would.
Nice.
Yeah, it was one of the better Marvel movies I've seen recently. Listen, we can do this fill thing, right, Hanks? Am I doing it? Can I get a +1 from you?
I think we're still filling. I haven't seen anything that we have to.
I think we're going in. We saw it going.
I think we're close enough that we're just still.
We're getting there, guys. We're getting there, guys.
Yeah.
Both teams needed a second to wipe the sweat off their palms, off their brows, with the intensity of the moment. VP forced for the first time into a match point position. Berber Patapim showing that they have what it takes to swing at the very best, but I feel like it will all be forgotten if they stumble here. It will, like this is as close as it is, as much as that's an achievement to be the first team to put them to the edge of the sword. You've got to win. That's what the fans are going to remember. Look, this is esports, baby. It's win or go home. That's the way it works, baby. You don't think, oh, we played so good, it was so close.
They'd still be the first team to put up 2 on VP, though. They'd still be that. So
true, but you don't come into game 5 thinking we did such a good job, guys. Then you already lost, right? You've got to be hungry, and that's what Berber Patapim have shown us that they are already.
It's the only map that matters. This is the only map that matters right now.
It's true. It's true.
I mean, Org's got to be looking at Berber regardless, unless they want unless they have some multi-gazillionaire invest in the brand of Berber Patapim in their green logo. It could happen. It could happen.
For their careers, that is a good point, actually. For their careers, this is already a good result because they're clearly right now the only team to really put the challenge to VP in Europe. So there looks to me like obviously the second best team in Europe. But to snatch that crown away to be a team that is on par with Virtus.pro by winning this series, maybe better than Virtus.pro. I mean, you got to deliver a couple wins back to back to get to that point, I will say. But nonetheless, right? This win.
Well, yeah. Imagine what this team could do with like salary and resources, right? Yeah. That would be huge for them.
I think Org should be thinking really seriously about this team. There's other sponsored teams, right? And you got to look at a squad like Berber Patapim that's just been hungry. They've been grinding the game together.
With a salary and with an org, they could possibly ban Human Torch on first.
Yeah, that ain't changed until next patch X. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, that one looks pretty locked in.
All right, anything changing for you guys? Anything we gotta look at?
I mean, so far it's like a full mirror. Virtus.pro, we'll see what they want to protect here. They could change things up if they want to like protect. Okay, they do protect Emma, so it does allow them to get that signature Finzi Emma, which I think is great for them. I mean, he's been such a lightning rod for the team and their success.
Last bans for VP have been Vanguards for the most part.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, the Hulk and the Namor are getting through right now, but
yeah.
So if that changes.
Also, the Jeff Cap is... Berber Patapim banned the Cap, but they could still get... I mean, it's interesting, because if you protect Cap, I feel like the Jeff would get banned here. They are going to protect the Cap. Okay, I wonder if VP are going to respect the Jeff. I will say, if there was a character duo that could take that backline high ground, as I mentioned, that first point attack, if you're Berber Patapim, maybe the Jeff Cap is somebody who can make that a problem. It could be very awkward to hold unless the VP really bring their full strength to that position.
Well, the last bans for VP have always been Hulk and Groot.
Wolverine.
Wolverine late. What, Jake? What? Explain what?
I mean, all right. Well, Groot is in, so they're just gonna play Groot, and
yeah,
I think that's what this means. They're just gonna play Groot, and they're saying without Wolverine, you can't beat us on Groot. We don't care about your Jeff Cap. That being said, I think Jeff Cap, it doesn't counter Groot the way Wolverine does, where you attack the Groot and kill the Groot, and that's counter the Groot. I think Jeff Cap has a different perspective on counter Groot, which is like, I will just kill you last on Groot. I'll ignore you, and I'll just deal with the rest of your teammates.
Okay,
and
boys.
Then, without staying Groot falls.
It sounds super interesting. The first time we've had a TV2, or 2v2, sorry. 2v2, Virtus.pro, BBP. Let's see how it goes. Is Virtus.pro finally going to lose? Dogman, take it away.
Thank you, Hanks. Heading to Symbiotic Surface for our 5th map of the day. 5th map, well, not of the day, I guess. Second series, 5th map of the series. And, I mean, what a way to end it off, Jay, considering how things have gone, how exciting it's been so far. I mean, inarguably, at least for Fight Night, EMEA, best day so far, right? For sure. Out of the entire, 15 weeks you guys have been doing this? Fight Night's been going?
Absolutely. No question about it, Dustin. Happy to have you here on the mic. We're getting right into it. And Fi is going to play the Wolverine himself. So Virtus.pro going to go with both the Wolverine here and the Bucky. Curious to see how this ends up playing off. This could be a problem for Cap, right? He could get really hard controlled potentially. But Pokey on the Iron Man, who's going to deal with this?
I mean, already Tank's taking a lot of pressure. Now here comes that dive on the Black Panther. Hooked in, though. There's that hook he needs to hit, but doesn't even result in a kill. Tanuki still alive by lurking. Oh, no, he misses the combo.
Yeah, and they're able to teleport out there on the Loki, starting to put the pressure down. Both teams taking heavy pressure on the Vanguards. Virtus.pro willing to give up a bit of depth here. They're playing the group walls well. It's very awkward, and Patapim are a little bit scared to go in for a heavy commitment here. They know the threat that 5 poses, and he's like zoning a lot of possibilities here. Cap just barely slips away from the Wolverine.
Unfortunately, this is the value in Wolverine, like hitting that combo. For Black Panther, wait, here comes the maximum pulse. It's blocked by the shield from Finzi. Nice work. Coming back now, Tanuki dives into the back line. Ults forced. Sparker dealing with the Black Panther, able to shoot him a few times. Can't duck away from that, though. The staircase was not there to save Tanuki. Unfortunately, back to the spawn he goes, and so does Burr. They just back it up for now.
Yeah, they stabilized with the other 5 players, though, so they're not going to get fully wiped off the map. VP were trying to stagger that into more kills, and they've done that successfully against many teams before. So Patapim, it's going to be a quick reset. Black Panther going to be back in, and it's going to be a supportive advantage here for Patapim. It's something that you really do want to engineer on this offense. Dridro's got to be very careful when he does deploy that dance floor.
I mean, they know in the bottom right, 5 sitting.
Oh, grab.
Oh, in the sky, but the bubble. Plus, he gets the heals from the Loki. Brute ultimate out. Here comes Maximum Pulse. No! Nevix! You just needed a little bit over and you would have been alive! Now they come back through with the Fate of the Worlds and they commit the Kraken impact. Fi again with the kidnap, but it doesn't matter because the Fate of the Worlds is here to keep everybody healthy. So they're down a member of their team. Sparker goes a little bit aggressive, backs up to the team. Somehow they find Enzo, and now on the back foot is going to be Patapim. They out of the sky again. Pokey gets kidnapped. No bubble to save him, but the supports are here. The strategists keep him alive. Finzi walks towards the point as well. Sonic Seduction almost available. Here comes Saipe and his copy with the Fate of the Worlds, and they're able to take down Tanuki.
That's such a massive ultimate there, Saipe. They're able to bridge the gap. They only had the one strategist ultimate, but they just played off each other perfectly. Enzio tried to switch to Jeff, tried to shake that one up, but the Black Panther has been very quiet here. I mean, Luna Snow, Loki, so effective at defending against some of those dives. Tanuki is going to stick with it, try to make it work as it was. So effective in a couple of those previous maps of the series, but Patapim have been so far shut out from this first point. Virtus.pro staking their claim on Symbiotic service, and they have the Wolverine ult to boot. Very scary threat to walk up into.
On a spam coming through early on. Already built up that maximum pulse, and he's kidnapped again, but surely they're aware of it this time. Bubble comes through. It's almost like it's clockwork.
Problem.
Amp Seduction kind of voiding any of that space taken by the side of Patapim. Meanwhile, I don't think we've seen Fi's passive get procced like once, so he's doing a good job making sure he has it available, but oh no, Tanuki's found Saipe. Nothing to keep Nevix alive, and Tanuki's found 2. Both strategists gone. Fi tries to go for his kidnap, doesn't get it this time. And he's going to fall on this objective shortly once Spooky kind of figures out this tracking thing and avoids that shield. And this is actually going a lot slower than I would have figured for Patapim. It's a lot harder to get this portal off, so everybody else just goes down, and Patapim take point 1.
It's a good point take, and we talked about first point being a bit of a sticking point for them. And so now that they're able to get a bit more mobility, we'll see what Tanuki's able to do here on second with these many different angles he can hit from. Virtus.pro wisely backing off, taking the full regroup. Both teams very aware of the threat of getting snowballed here, especially once the card is in play. Tanuki, though, into a potential 1v1 here with Fi. Brings the Captain America to bear, and Fi just has to fall off that play. For now, Patapim in a pretty dominant position on the high ground.
Yeah, and you're making VP a little uncomfortable. Saipe goes down again early. Fate of the World's too late to save Saipe. Did he not have the crystals up? I don't know. Fi looking to stall this payload now, right? Just kind of tossing that objective, trying to get Fate of the Worlds. Oh, man. They're making him real uncomfortable. They tossed out that Groot ultimate. They're down 2 members of their team. Here comes the Meteor M. Stalls it as well. Saipe. I mean, they just fall. 1 by 1 on this payload. Berber get it done again.
I mean, I think the second point is going to go down very quick. Tanuki just keeps hitting from the back line, keeps succeeding. And so far, Virtus.pro in these tight, congested corridors, they don't have an answer for the Black Panther. Even with that Luna Snow, right? It's just too difficult to deal with him when he's hitting from other angles. Saipe going down early there. Mark of respect here for Tanuki, looking like maybe one of the best Black Panther players in the world. He's looking to go, wow, even earlier than I would expect here, flanking from behind. If they don't see this coming, they could be in real trouble, especially with the Capult here hitting from the front. Opportunity to pop the Freedom Charge. Patapim playing this one a little bit slow. They take out that copied Fate of Both Worlds, and they fall out of this one. This great positioning now, going to be able to delay and come back in with their own ultimates. Virtus.pro now are in the unfortunate position of having a 4 strategist ultimate they're not able to use.
Here comes Pokey. Sparker able to find Tanuki early again. Here comes that pulse, but the shield, somehow made it through the crack and through the Loki crystals. Dritro falls, and now no passive as well for Fi, so he goes low. Poly falls so low with the freedom charge. He's still alive. Also over the cart, here comes Fi with all of that damage, or rather Pokey burning down Nevix, takes down Finzi as well. Both Vanguards removed, and this cart's moving into the 3rd phase.
so incredibly close. If Poly goes down quickly enough there, that's a very good chance for Virtus.pro to clutch out. But instead, the Freedom Charge is just barely enough to tank him up, gets a bit of help from the squad, and Berber Patapim sweep through second point with 2 minutes on the clock. I mean, third point can be a little awkward to dive on, but that is a lot of time to work with. VP are going to go over to the Namor, over to the Bucky, 2 very solid responses to dive, and Berber Patapim just instantly drop the VP onto a Pokemon of their own.
They're looking for solutions. This is the value of hero shooters in general. We're seeing so many different answers right now from Virtus.pro. This is their 3rd time trying to figure out a solution to Berber and their playstyle currently. They've got 3 ultimates ready to go as well, coming up with more. Already using Nevix's bubble, forcing out Dridro with the Fate of the Worlds. Fi going down to Fi was, or sorry, Pokérad going into Fi was huge. Here comes the Meteor Ram. Can it connect? No, it doesn't again. They're so good at avoiding Enzo and his Meteor Ram. VP up a member of their team. Find Ken as well.
Ken is just out of the dance floor there. That's an unfortunate mistake there from Berber Patapim, and it's going to probably lead to a team wipe. Virtus.pro, you give them an inch and they take a mile. Only about a minute left on the clock here. Berber Patapim trying to build up some ultimates, but it's going to be a big fight. Both teams with a lot of resources to bring to bear here. But it's already been an amazing push for Berber Patapim. They've set themselves up with a nice win condition. Nonetheless, they would love to get it over the line. They would love to finish this map. Virtus.pro need to stop that here.
53 seconds left to go. Strategist, or sorry, Doctor Strange portal still available for both teams. They walk in. Clone's getting removed by Pokey. That's sort of his job. Poly committing the Freedom Charge early. So we see Pokey drop back down, but here comes the Whale. Sparker able to take down Ken as well. Oh no. Second time, Jake, they've lost Ken early. Nevix did use ultimates. That's so many ults too. Sonic's
this is actually good
committed.
for BBP. This is nice for them, right? Like the fact that they're able to, you know, take that wipe, but they reset quick. They're gonna have another chance to contest. They have this range problem. I don't even think you need it. Yeah, as he goes over to the Hulk. They got 20 seconds. They can walk up. VP have nothing left in the tank. Berber Patapim with 3 ult. This is their fight to lose.
Walking in now. 10 seconds left to go. Portal
and a strange
coming
portal
through. Yeah, but can it be blocked? Nope. Immobilization from the Hulk there. They walk through, touch that cart. Whale's getting, Squid's getting removed.
No, no one's on card. No.
No. Oh.
Oh, dude, I feel like the pressure just got to Berber Patapim. I don't think they even needed the strange portal there. They had 20 seconds. They can just walk out. They have a good poke call. They don't need to do that. And even if they do portal in there, they're going. It's such a forced engagement coming out into the center of the fight with no cover, just right off the portal. Feel like they could have just walked up, played that fight straight up with the ultimate advantage and had a good shot in it. Instead, the C9, will it live in infamy, or will Berber Patapim be able to make the full hold?
I feel sick, man. I feel like I need to like check it out. That's
that's the pressure you need to be able to endure. If you want to challenge Virtus.pro, they are going to put you to those tests. You had the advantage in this fight. I'm reminded back to that first round, and oh my god, no one's touching, bro. Bro, come on, bro, please.
Is that on Poly then? Because Poly was looking. I mean, he saw the Loki clones. He's like, okay, somebody else touches for sure. I mean, the whole did touch. No, it's the dude. And you know what it is though too is because in this game the freaking cart is like skinny as hell. Yeah, well, yeah, you have to cap the cart, and it's like super vertical. It's like there's like it's a rectangle in the like there's no side. So if like the cart is tilted,
right on it, yeah,
and it kind of teleports
I just feel
around
like the fact that they even strange portaled there was itself a mistake. Like I just think they could have just straight walked up.
I mean, everybody does it though. That's the problem. It's like I agree.
But they have 20 seconds. They have 20 seconds.
I know.
A good hero. Like I don't think Strange is the best character, but whatever. We'll see if we can discuss that in more detail. Berber Patapim, all is forgiven though. If you're able to make this hold, if you're able to get the win, everything else will be written off. That is what it's all about here. It's going to be Tanuki on the Namor. Fi's back to the Wolverine. I think this is a little bit more difficult to make work on the offense.
And they're running that double team up, right? So they don't have that group. So a lot is on Nevix as well. Can these walls get deleted? Tanuki on the flank, by the way. Looking to hit a bunch of shots, throws his game to spawn out.
Hero. He's getting a lot of work done.
Yeah, I mean, this is the value of these off angles. However, it's sort of just kind of abusing cover right now is the side of Virtus.pro, just kind of walking into the objective in which they are nearing that point. And once Groot is on that point and you have Saipe kind of set up, it's almost like you can't dislodge them. So he already uses those crystals super early there just to keep everybody healthy. Has the copy, can go with the ultimate. They've created a little bit of space, just goes for the copy, into the clap. Tanuki's down early.
Yeah, and they haven't even popped the dance floor just yet. Berber Patapim need to find an answer. They need to fight this one back. They might be down, but they're not out. Still a lot of point cap is going against them. They're going to be forced up to contest now. And here's the ultimate coming in from Saipe. So difficult to challenge this. Maximum pulse. Is there a connection from behind? Okay, 5 finds 1, but the kills are already coming in for Virtus.pro.
Yeah, and they capped the point. Man, that's, I mean, you got to come back now 5 minutes in the Streets phase. And we know, like, I feel like teams are really bad at Streets phase in this game. It just feels like they, I mean, we saw even on VP's defense. And in the second phase of the game, they just kind of lost one fight and it was over. It's like very all-in-y.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. Remember Patapim after the C9, crumbling on first. You got to be questioning the mental fortitude here. Tanuki is going to go over to the Jeff. They're going to try and bring out this flexible dive style. Pokey, though, still in the Iron Man, so they do still have a bit of range damage. So trying to be that jack of all trades style, and VP is just barreling ahead here. A lot of team fight disruption between the Groot walls, the hooks from Sparker, the grabs from Fi. This is a scary situation for Berber Patapim. And they need to sit their footing. They need to plant their feet and take some of this time off the clock. You cannot let VP cap with 4 minutes.
Nevix tossing out the ult, catches out both strategists. They get the Fate of the Worlds, and they get the crystals, so they're still healthy. But that's both cooldown tools. Nevix falls so low, but he's Groot, man. 850 HP, plus the Ironwood wall. I mean, like, it's an unkillable demon right now. Nevix just kind of coming back, looking for Peel. Wolverine goes deep, but I was able to find one, as well as Jeff going down to Sparker. So right now, they freedom charge down 2 members on their team. Berber has to come back with a huge ultimate. No! Oh, countered by Nevix and the rest of the team.
And Virtus.pro are sweeping over the challengers. Berber Patapim, they came so close, but now surely the win feels out of reach. They're trying to desperately stagger back in, trying to get that retake here on the point. Tanuki stalling for all he's worth, taking a lot of pressure. He's healing up through it. Hold on, this Jeff making something happen here on the flank maybe, but Fi continues to strike onto Polly. The damage from the Wolverine overwhelming at close range.
Right, Saipe just kind of walking back and forth, able to take down Alex as well. It's tough because the strategists were both walled off by Nevix. I mean, he built an absolute fort. Here comes that Jeff ultimate. It catches out 3. But who touches? Nobody touches because it's Jeff, and Jeff can't contest the payload. Oh, they're moving to the 3rd phase, man.
Oh, Dustin, it's all falling apart. The inevitability. Virtus.pro, consistency, time and time again, week in, week out. It seems all but a foregone conclusion. It would take a Herculean effort here for Berber Patapim to stall this, and I just don't see it. Jeff, there's no ultis across the board. It's only going to be Pokey close to that Kraken impact, but how do you actually turn that into teamfight wins? Fi has been devastating on the Wolverine.
Oh, nice job. Ducking back down under the water. Make sure he doesn't get grabbed, but here's that Psionic Seduction. Catches out Pokey. Does he have the heals on the off angle? Able to get some overhealth, but Enzo's already down again. Brutal ultimate to the backside. Keeping him healthy. 1 meter to go. Trying to zone him off by again. Gets Ken. And like you said, Wolverine. 100%. Yeah, I mean, he's just got ult. He's just on the cart. Nobody's here to touch. And for as close as they got, it was not enough. VP win again. 14 weeks now they've won Fight Night. Undefeated. Even the 1 week they didn't show up, they still kind of win at heart, right?
I mean, they're just indomitable, indefatigable, right? Being able to return time and time again. Face all challengers, and for now, for the first time, push to the brink, and they strike back just as hard as maybe I've ever seen them hit back. And VP once again are going to claim that title belt, but now the gauntlet has been thrown down. There is a true challenger in Europe. We can't take away from what Berber Patapim has accomplished. They're going to be feeling the heat. They're going to be regretting all those tiny little moments in this series where maybe they could have gotten that win on Krakoa. Maybe they could have played things different on Hall of Djalia, or of course, that painful C9 here at the end of their attack here on Symbiotic Surface.
We always give some glory to the vanquished, some victory to the vanquished. Man, they gave it their best. They really put their best up, but Virtus.pro continues to be the absolute best team in Europe. Patapim's like, you have to feel like that's a team that's going to get signed, right? If you want to be a rivals org in EU.
This is no question the hottest prospect unsigned team, maybe in the world, obviously in Europe right now.
Yeah, I mean, if we get lands coming up soon, I mean, doesn't matter if you're European or whatever. Like, if you have a team competing in those and you're winning, like, people are going to notice.
Yeah, first team to put it 2-2 versus Virtus.pro, and just barely at the end, and also C9 in the mix. And we had a Charlie Niner. No one likes a Charlie Niner. I kind of do. I find them funny.
You're a sicko, Hex, dude.
I am a sicko.
No, it is a little bit funny though. There's a sick part of me too. Of like, oh no.
And I mean, I was there for like the very first Charlie Niner. I know the genesis of where Charlie Niner came from, so it's always amusing to me. I don't know. Yeah,
I think we just learned. Well, Hex, I think we learned why like Groot on these convoy maps he's just so dominant, man. Because like I don't think they lost with that Groot on these payload maps at all. Like they lost domination, sure, but like once we went to those convoys, it was just raps.
Still a force, right? Still needs to be respected in the ban phase. We've seen Emma Frost start to get prioed a little bit higher in terms of the bans and the protects, but it's a great point, Dogman, that like this Groot is still a major factor. And Finzi coming in with the 5 gifted. Thank you, brother. What a match from you guys on VP. But I mean, this is clearly the best fight night we've had in Europe, bar none.
It's very good. And yeah, I'm gonna actually chat with the VP and be like, hey, was that fun for you? Or you were actually scared? Or what happened there?
They're crying. That's painful for them, man. Holy.
I mean, they'll be back next week. That's the fight night format. You win, you get to stick around, you get to defend. I don't know. I don't run comp ops, but I'd like to have.
We got to give Patapim another shot.
Well, you know what?
No question.
Yeah.
In my mind.
I mean, so I know that like obviously it's probably bad. Like it's not our jobs. Obviously, like you said, don't run comp ops. But a team that did well in Ignite versus Berber Patapim. Who's the team? It was called Blood Corrido, I think. So that's another team. They went 2-1 against Berber Patapim. So lot of potential change. The up and comers are starting to do work in EU.
Look, there's always room for those up and comers at this point in a game like Marvel Rivals. It's going to be those young players coming out of the woodwork, grinding the game, committed to learning it. It's like you got all these people coming in from other hero shooters. Sure, they're going to be really dominant for a long time, and VP know this. That's why they're actually taking it seriously, grinding the game, playing strategically as a team. They're not just relying on individual skill. That's why they've been this successful. But there is room to upset these Titans, and Berber Patapim have shown that it is possible. They showed that the gods can bleed. They are not gods. They're only men.
It's a nascent esports. There's no other way to say it. We're very much in the immaturity of where Rivals is as an esports. And yes, Virtus.pro looks like the best team in that. They got in early. That's fair. And we'll see who is the up-and-comers on that. So, completely great. Go ahead, Dustin.
Well, who's our MVP after that one, Hex? I mean, after that barn burner of a series, I think we all agreed Tanuki would have been it on Berber if they won, but
yeah.
For VP, it was
such a full court press from Berber, though. I mean, really solid performances from the whole team as well. Both of these teams, I think, acquitted themselves. They should be really proud, honestly, of both of their performances. They're all playing some amazing Marvel Rivals. But we do have to give the MVP to some way. And this time it's going to be Saipe. I mean, the immaculate performances on the Loki, really, I think a key factor, especially where Virtus.pro was most successful, as you mentioned, on the Convoy, on the Convergence, able to slow the game down and play this front-to-back style. They are maybe the best in the world at it. They certainly make an impressive case for themselves. Of course, Virtus.pro, it's always an across-the-board effort. And anytime we do give the MVP to a strategist, it really does speak to the closeness of the game. That Sparker, as good as he's been, on especially the Bucky here on Hop Djalia was like particularly impressive from him. It was really the solidity of the backline that ended up being, I think, the decisive factor for Virtus.pro.
The supports in Marvel Rivals have won MVP more often than not, almost. It's kind of crazy because it's always easy to give it to the DPS players. It's always easy to give it to the front line. But some of the supports just doing so much work. And yeah, it's not surprising. It's not the first time Saipe's won MVP as well.
I mean, look, the reality of strategists in this game is like, you aren't going to get the clips. It's like when we're quiet and we don't notice you is probably when you're playing at your best. And that's sort of the reality on a lot of strategists. I mean, maybe like Adam Warlock is a little bit different, goes for a little bit more of those carry plays, but just being quietly there, pumping heals, staying alive, getting valuable ults off, right? Like that's been a difference maker on the strategist role. And it allows the rest of these stars to shine on Virtus.pro. And it allows their Vanguards play incredibly aggressive, relying on all those heals coming in. Same story for the duelists.
Yeah, if we don't say your name, you're probably doing your job pretty well. It's kind of like the offensive lineman kind of motif. Yeah. I don't know, Dustin, you actually watch football, so you agree with that?
No, yeah, I get that.
You
no,
said
yeah,
that like you watch football, Hex. I was about to say like that makes total sense, even though I literally don't know what those words mean. Like,
no, it is.
You don't
down
know
in the
any
trenches.
Offensive linemen's names. That's how it goes. So
we know Jason. Is it Jason Kelsey?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, we got the schedule coming in.
That's just Taylor Swift's boyfriend, though. Let's be real.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah. No, that's Travis Kelsey. You got the wrong guy, dude.
Oh shoot, bro.
Wrong guy, dude. Wrong Kelsey. There's two of them.
I really don't know. I don't know.
You got the less famous
drama, and I don't know football. Those are two things I really do not know.
There are two Kelseys, and Jason is the superior one. We all know that.
That's true.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for running us through EU tonight. What a EU night! That was so much fun. Patapim. AQ, not the best. I think we have found the next kind of matchup, though. The next thing that we'll be seeing in the future with BP and, well, oddly enough, BBP.
Wouldn't be surprised to see this team have a different name, though. Like, coming back with a sponsor, I think a lot of orgs are going to have to really take note of this result here in Fight Night. But the fun doesn't stop here. We've got great matchups in NA as well. Right. Shroud X has upset a lot of teams, has really burst onto the scene in the last month or so in Marvel Rivals and been one of the most impressive in NA. They're going to be taking on Citadel Gaming here for the Challenger match. And, of course, waiting in the money match, 100 Thieves, a mainstay in Marvel Rivals North America, always reliable, always consistently playing at the top level. But of course, competition in NA is very fierce.
Well, whoever has any money in EU esports, give it to Patapim. Just do that. And then, we'll see your NA
easy top
matchup.
8.
Yeah, very easy top 8.
Yeah.
Dogman,
this is the first,
Jake.
Well, is this the first time we're seeing Citadel, by the way, on Fight Night? I think it is, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
It is. Yeah, new work. And I'm gonna get the third and fourth best Rivals casters to do that. So appreciate you guys.
I can't wait to tune in later, and Hex is gonna intro them, and be like, "I'm here with the best casters in the game."
I'm gonna do that. That's actually gonna be the thing. Dogman Jake, thank you so much for treating us to EU Rivals Fight Night. Appreciate you guys. We're going to take a break. I'll see you guys back in 5 minutes.